Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast, Supercoach edition. It's Magic Round week. Very, very pumped. Literally, once you guys are probably listening to this, or most of you anyway, it will be a day before the males hit the field, I guess. But NRLW tonight, the State of Origin for the women's, when you are listening Thursday night. Very keen for that as well. So that officially kicks off Magic Round weekend. Plenty are already up here already. I drove through and around Brisbane today. Actually, I did notice a number of jerseys and things that are already doing the rounds, and what the NRL are doing around the city of Brisbane. So good. It is honestly, I'm so pumped. I know all the boys. We're all going. They're there all 3 days. Very, very pumped for it. It's just going to be a great, great weekend. So keen. Everyone's always in such a great mood. Things like that. So very, very keen. But tonight we are talking all things Supercoach. After a humongous weekend, let's not shy away from it. There were some scores that completely blew our minds on the weekend. Unfortunately, none of us had those scores. It would have been nice to be coming on here going, oh, yeah, got a 1,600, got a high 1,500 or something, but still did relatively well. I think we all end up getting green arrows as well, or close to it. Can't remember. Oh, Jesse's got the shake of the head, so maybe not. But it's still a pretty decent weekend by all three of us, which we will get into very shortly. We're going to just a quick preview. We're actually going to go a bit early tonight and talk a lot about the buy planning and when do we start it? Is it now? When? And the players and clubs who we're thinking you should be targeting moving forward with trade, taking into account the buy planning and things like that. So that's the preview of what tonight is going to be all about. First of all, thank you to Freedom Finance Group once again sponsoring the Supercoach point, a part of the podcast of the page. You'll definitely see their logo a lot more in and around the post and things like that as well. Whenever you do need any financial needs, please contact Con and his team. I know Trav personally has dealt with Con a number of occasions. Cannot rate him highly enough, and I can't either from all my dealings with Con. He's been sensational, and I know he's just eagerly awaiting to help all of our League of Inches community out. So please, any financial needs you do have, contact Con and his team. Even go through us. If you need to, message the page. I will get you directly into contact with Con himself. That's what we'll do for you. He's so keen to get working there with you all. The overall, actually, let's go first, boys. Introduce you both. Jesse,
yeah,
been a week. How's things, mate? How's things? Not too long until you're up in this great part of the world and ripping and tearing.
Yeah, man. I'm heading up tomorrow afternoon. So keen as for Magic Round, man. I'm stoked. It's gonna be a cracker of a weekend. Super keen for it. It's been freezing here down my way, and it's been pissing down. So a bit of warm weather will be a nice turn. But Supercoach wise, look, man, I thought I had a good week going, and I saw some absolute blowouts. I actually dropped. I'm still in the 1K just. But I dropped with a 1339, so I was like far out. I was 20,000 round rank. So I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm 20,000 spots, and I got 1339, which is a good score most weeks. So, 972 now. Team value is almost 15.2. I won most of my head-to-heads. I think I lost two of the League of Inches ones, the free and the cashy one. So, shout out to the massive scores that trumped me in those leagues, but I won the rest of them. I got a pretty big victory in draft this week, which we can quickly touch on if you'd like there, mate.
We don't have to. I'm happy to forget about it.
We do have to touch on it because you're very vocal about your undefeated record, how good you are at draft. You're a draft guy now. All of these ones coming in. Smoke Joe. Sorry, mate.
You're not sorry.
Top of the pop.
It doesn't. No, I'm not sorry. You're beaten by. We're beaten by the best, boy. Oh, classic.
Don't start me on this because first of all, I'm going to call out you, Supercoach, and Tom Sangster. I was beating Jesse by 10 points at the end of all games, sitting there going, you know what? We're going to be close, obviously, with updates, but it's going to be now. I thought the fog almost got me home, and I was going to come on air tonight. And the things I would have said about the fog probably would have turned this into a probably R18 plus podcast because, I was ready to go. But somehow the scorers got so many things drastically wrong on the weekend that I ended up getting beat by Jesse. I think it was by 50 points in the end. So that's a 60-point turnaround. That is ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'll take the defeat. Like it got to the point where it was actually laughable, and I just went, you know what? I'll just cop it because otherwise I'm going to get really pissed off about this game. And I just thought, how does that happen? How do you get something so wrong? Like Gowan went up like 25 points. Finally went up, 35 or 40 points or something.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Crazy. Yeah, it was a crazy round for rescores, but it was, what was it? I think it was 5 or 6 to your 2. So I had a lot more potential to get rescored. But yeah, it was a massive swing. And coming from behind on a rescore, that much ahead, yeah, it was a very, very nice victory to take home. Felt really good about it. So thanks.
Well done, mate. I'll say it on air. I'll be noble. Well done. I am still winning it. Clear out in front still by 1 win. So hopefully the boys, as I said, we went out last week. We did celebrate the starts of the season, which looking back on, I probably shouldn't have done with the boys. That was the wrong move as a coach. But we're back on the horse now. We've been training our asses off this week, ready to rip in Magic Round. Trav, how'd you go, mate?
On the weekend? Sorry, mate. I was just having a look. Going well. Yeah.
How'd you go after last night's episode where we ripped into Jake? Ripped him a new one. Shout out to you, Jakey boy, traveling at the moment.
Yeah, what an idiot, man. It just showed how stupid he is, and he's going to cop it on the weekend and be even stupider when I tackle him through the ribs because he thinks he's tough. But
classic.
Can't wait till the little man comes and stands in front of me and I realize that he's actually just as dwarfy as Jesse is.
He's a lot more nuggety though. He's got that massive
he is. Yeah. So I actually thought I was going to do all right. I got a 1260 on the weekend and thought, it's not a bad score. I was literally one person wrong. I had Sandon Smith. He is in my team. He's in my halfback spot, but I didn't play him. I was literally one player down from getting a decent score. 1260. I actually dropped ranks 2,726. So I'm back to 21K. Team value rose another 400K, which is at 14.8 mil now. I look at my team and I actually think I've got all the problems out other than the shitty fullback spot. And think I'm set. I think I've actually got a really nice team. I've had to make trades due to injuries. I haven't made a lot of trades due to bad form, other than really Ponga. Most of my big name players I've had to make over the course of the season has been that there's been injuries, and I've been able to trade good rookies out or good cheapies out and upgrade them. So I look at my team and think it's really good. So yeah, I'm just wondering where I go from here. But I made the trades on the weekend of JC to Strange, and I'm really happy about that. Strange got a 53, had a really nice 80 odd K. It was 63K, price rise. I'm happy with that. He's still got he's only got a break even of 37. He does play the Storm, but Storm haven't been that defensive juggernaut that we sort of expected and have been. So I'm not too concerned about that score from him or that break even this week. So I'm pretty happy with that trade. Plus it gives me that round 12 number, which I need. And I pushed Jenkins up to Lucas. So they were my two trades on the weekend. I captained Pappenhausen for his 66, who ended up getting binned for the blooper that we spoke about last night on the live show. So that cost me at least the sim bin 10 plus more. So I was one player that Sandon Smith 129 sitting on my bench. If I was, if hindsight's a wonderful thing, if I didn't play Cleary, which I was always going to do, I make 75 points. And if I had Sandon Smith in the hooker, I would have made 79 extra points. So I would have, I'm literally just that one Sandon Smith play away from a really nice score. But it is what it is. That is Supercoach.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I got a 13-17, so I went up. Actually, I got some green arrows, 942 spots. So I'm now 12,654. So slowly climbing back up after a great little start it was to the season. I went on a big slippery slide down. I think I've had a couple of weeks now of green arrows, which is nice. It would have been nice to get a bigger jump. Purely probably just captaincy. I did captain Nathan Cleary, which unfortunately did not pay off. Penrith just absolutely ended up just dying. Basically, it wasn't a good watch at all. Being a Cleary captain owner, and then watching your two front rowers absolutely kill it. And I mentioned last week, I was like, Payne-Haas isn't the worst VC option, and I just didn't do it. So should have, would have, could have, but it's been the story of this year.
I'd much prefer Terrell May, and I captain Cleary as well, and Terrell May ended on 118. I was like, far out. I'm just, you know what? I think going forward, man, I think just pick one of the two and just at least slap a VC on the one that plays before whoever. Or VC someone and just go for the consistent. Because when you look at the two of them, man, Haas is averaging 96. Terrell May's averaging basically 88. Like, that's better than any other fullback with upside, any other halfback with upside that we've been chasing. Like, just they've got the upside. No one else does. I'm so over it. It's been so shit on the captain front.
And the 1 week we did end up doing it. I think we all went in on Payne-Haas. I think it was that week. He did nothing.
No, I didn't. But
I
he
didn't
did
him that week.
That was his one game that he had under 30 minutes or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was like a 50-something pointer. And every other score has been like above 80. Yeah, just shafted. Oh, well.
Shout out to the League of Inches overall comp. So we've had a change in the leaderboard. Firstly, thanks to Supercoach rings, SC rings out there for the prize that they've donated. That is a Supercoach ring to the winner of this, and for a few of the other comps we are running, like the tipping comp, draft overall winner, things like that as well. So we've got a couple of those rings to give out this year, which we're very thankful of. SC rings is the place to be. It's those championship style rings. Such good quality. They're extremely heavy. They're really, really good quality products. So thank you for that. So at the moment, we've had a change in the leaderboard. So old Jolie boy did nothing, just this sort of, I wouldn't say disgrace the name because he was at the top for a couple of weeks there, but he's made a little slip up, made a little error. I'll back us Joel boys. He'll come back though. He'll be good. He's been overtaken by Chris C-Max 86ers, who has now taken the lead in the LOI comp with an overall score at the moment of 10,425. Fair to say I will not be challenging you, mate. Well done on the win this year. You've beaten me at least. But we'll see who else you can get win and if you can end up holding that. At the moment, it's I think about 2 weeks ago, Joel had a lead of like 250 in this comp, and now it's been squashed very quickly. And now it's getting very, very close up the top. Great thing to note as well, like inside the top 50, we have 4 players just in the top 50 alone, and then I could go further into top 200, 300, things like that. So just having 4 alone just shows you the quality that's in this comp at the moment. Still got a league ranking of 9, which is awesome. And it's great to see so many good quality super coaches in there, really tearing it up. The highest score of last week and gets that $10 Pack Lords voucher for the breaks for any of those NRL cards that you're after is...
Cracker name. Honestly, I love this name. Read it out.
Oh, Paul. Pornhub.
Pornhub.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. Pornhub. 1,537. Goodness, I feel like that number should have ended in a 69 just to give that name even more justification. But goodness, what a name! So, Paulie boy, message our page or message Pack Lords directly just to claim your prize for the week. But congratulations on that name, that is absolute, probably one of the best I've seen so far this year. That is absolutely fantastic. So let's say you climb out the leaderboard as well. You're a little bit off the top, but you'll no doubt a few more weeks like that, and you can be right in the mix.
10,000K rank jump too.
Yeah,
had a big week. Man, that's the thing.
Huge.
Like you can jump up so high. Went from 13,500 to 3,500. So yeah, just takes a crack of a round, doesn't it?
Yeah, not far off I think the top score of the actual comp for the week as well, which like overall, which huge score. All right, let's get into it, Jesse. Take over. I've done my bit for the night. I'll sit back and relax.
You missed your team list, mate.
What do you mean? Oh my goodness me! I've got too excited.
Did it again.
I was just ready to rip into what we want to talk because I'm actually really keen to talk about the buy planning. It's a huge one. All right. Let's talk Magic Round weekend. So first game, Sharkies versus the Eels. For the Sharkies, big KL Iro returns for Mr. Hiroti, who is now out with an injury. Braden Hamlin-Ueli returns to the bench in place of Tapahua as well. And Billy Burns remains in that 12 jumper, which could be a little talking point. I believe he's in for a bit of cash, but it depends if you are happy to go in on that or not. For the Eels, Tuolungi does drop out of the side. I believe he's got an injury, a suspension at the moment, which sees Charlie Guymer come in and start in the second row. So if anyone did hold on to him, might be one of the only weeks that you'll probably play him with a little bit of confidence. But that is the only change to the side that beat the Tigers a couple of weeks ago. Anything from a talking point? Maybe Billy Burns, boys. Are you buying into, I guess, the small Billy Burns hype that is floating around at the moment, or steer clear?
Yeah, it's not a bad play, to be fair. It just depends on how long Wilton's out for. We haven't really had a lot of info, but if it's 4 weeks, I don't mind it. He's going to get a price rise this week too because he's played his 2 games already. 337k minus 21 break even. He's good for a 40 minimum. You know what I mean? Like he's not the worst play. He'll make a bit of coin. Again, I just don't know how much you kind of expect him to get. It could be like 100k over 3 or 4 weeks. Get himself into the mid 400s, maybe a smidge higher, and then he's out again. So it just depends. He's in a bit of an awkward price too. 337 is not downgrade territory. If you're trying to make some coin back from like a Egan or something, or Cant as well, who's been dropped, there's just not enough in it. So it's really situational. But look, he's got good coverage as well. Like they play the minor bye if he makes it that far. It could be okay, but again, it's a bit of a punt.
Yeah. Trav?
Tricky one.
No, I haven't looked at him at all. I mean, I have, but that's as far as I've gone. Just too much going on. He's not been able to hold a spot. Last played round 5, now an 8. It's too risky for me at this time of the year with Origin happening. I don't want to get someone in like that. And if I'm going to get someone in at this period of time, I want someone that's going to play Origin buys and guarantee it for me.
Yeah, you could get him and he could be out of the team by round 12, and then that was the whole point after the thing, because Wilton will just be straight back in the side. Then you got something to do with. So, yeah, too risky.
Yep. Anything else in this game you want to discuss, or that was it? Mr. Hero's back, but I'll say just watch for at least a week coming back from a hemi injury.
Yeah, definitely. At his price too. At least give him a week. His break evens, it's probably for him. It's probably attainable, to be fair. It is a bit high, but look, he's a gun. He's probably going to be one of the main targets in the center wings very shortly. But I'd just say, considering the nature of his hamstring, just give him at least a week, 2 if you're cautious enough.
Yeah, look, it's expensive, eh? It's 725k. He's got a break even of 86. However, like it is Iro. That 86, he got 111 in round 2 against the Cowboys and 85 against the South. So he's got upside to get there. But even if he does get 100, he's only going to rise a few thousand K. It's not going to be massive. And if he doesn't, then he's going to drop. He plays para, so like anything could happen this weekend for that score. So I just chill on it.
Yep,
for sure. Happy to move on.
Yep.
Roosters against the Dolphins, the second game of the Friday night. For the Roosters, no changes in the side that absolutely annihilated the Dragons. That means Savala and Smith continue in their halves partnership. But Townsend and Dom Young are both amongst the reserves. So Marky Mark is on the wing as well. For the Dolphins, coming off that second half capitulation to the Canberra. That's a big word for me. I'm proud of myself for getting that out. I'm shocked I actually did. Kafusi returns for Saifidi, who is out. Marshall King returns at the 9, which is huge for them, pushing Raystone back to the bench and O'Sullivan to the reserves. Donahue returns via the bench for Bromwich as well. So a couple of decent ins there for the Dolphins, which will make them even stronger than what they were in that first half against the Canberra Raiders. I guess, I don't know if he might be in the top trade, so it might not be worth talking about now, but Marky Mark for mine is something that is sticking out to me a lot.
Yeah, big time. I've got a bit of a section on him when it comes to the buy round plan as well, if you want to wait for that one. But
yeah, we'll wait.
He's Jesus Christ, he's bloody good, isn't he?
Yeah. Anything else for these two then? I'll wait for that one.
Yeah, he's currently not in the top 10 traded in, to be fair, but
No, he's
he's
not.
definitely we sort of put him. We called him out last week in the pod. I think we've also put him in our deep dive at the center wings a couple of weeks ago. This is a dude who's a freak.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's a gun.
We'll
looks
deep
so
it
bloody
later.
Yeah.
Cool.
Happy to move on for now because we do have some of these players will feature a bit later on. So
yeah, 100%.
Yep. Perfect. For the Bunnies, our next game up, the first of the Saturday. So post our Magic Round event, guys. So pump up. Very keen for that one. Again, message the page if you haven't already to secure your tickets. There's literally only a couple left. Now we are very much reaching capacity. I cannot promise you at the moment if there is any walk-ins that you will be able to get in, just because we are filling up quickly. You'll be relying on people not turning up for whatever reason. So for the Bunnies, big injuries. Obviously, Whiten's just been the fresh one that's happened within the last 24 hours as well. So that's a big one. Latrell is suspended. Gray returns to fullback. Aitken returns to centre. And with at the time, Whiten was in the halves, but that will mean Dodd, I believe, is actually going to be in the halves now with Sullivan. Duncan joins the back row with Hubner returning into lock, I believe, as well. So I think the main thing here is Souths have a heap of changes. is the easy thing to say. To be honest, if you are interested in any Souths player at the moment for whatever reason, I personally probably steer clear from him, apart from draft where I've got one or two and I'll just probably stay with him. Maybe read the lineup yourself because there's a host of stuff happening here. It is crazy to actually see. For the Newcastle Knights, Saifidi returns at prop, pushing Frizzell back to lock. This sees Croker join the bench with Adam Elliott, Brodie Jones, and Jaden Brayley. Expect Brayley to swap with Crosland to start the game, however. Boys, what do you want to talk about in this one?
Decimation of the Rabbits.
I was going to skip the Rabbits because I got zero interest in the Rabbitohs at the moment. I wouldn't, at least until after their first bye. But I was just going to say, how freaking good is Dylan Lucas? Like, they got belted on the weekend. He's come back. Yeah. He's played 77 minutes from having, 5 weeks off. He pushed Thomas Cant. He pushed Thomas, it was 6 weeks. Yeah, he pushed Thomas Cant back to the bench for a 27-minute role, and now Cant's been dropped all out of it. 77 minutes, scored 63 with a base of 55. The dude's a freak. What a freak. And he was actually good to watch. And the game was a stinker, but it was just good to watch him. That's how good he is. Yeah, get him in his team. Get him in your team. The Newcastle is exactly who you want to be trying to get into with some of these players as much as they're getting belted.
Yep.
He's one of them.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with him. Hey, he's mid-600s. Even still, like last week, he was a perfect purchase. But, I can understand the waiting on a week, especially considering the nature of his injury. Same as Kylie Rose as well. But look, he's a jewel. He's reasonably priced, $646. Like, it's unders for him as well. And I just can't knock it. Like, there's no reason not to. Plays every game to around 18. Like, you just do it. Your team will be much better for it. But look, the Knights, surely this game they get some points. Like, they have to. The Rabbits are lost. Like, Whiten's out now with a calf injury too. There's just nothing left. Like, they're clutching at straws now, trying to fill a team, and
it's only up, isn't it, for the Knights? It can only go up, surely.
It has to be.
And I get it. I get, like, Joel's comment yesterday on the live show was brilliant. Like, AOB is a shit coach. I get it. But they can't just be shit all the time. They can't be. Like, man.
There's too much talent in that team to just throw it away. You know what I mean?
The list is actually okay. And we know that the reason why they don't do as well is because of the coach. We get it. But bloody hell, like, Ponga can't be doing this. Like, the first 2 weeks he got an 80 and 129. Like, it's there.
Everyone in that team, especially the back six, has potential to just get a ton. You know what I mean? Whenever they want. But they just aren't. They're just playing like a bunch of spuds. So, yeah, I don't know. This has to be the week they turn it around, surely. If the Rabbits pull this one off, man, the Knights are done. And you can basically just throw the towel in on them. It's going to be keen eyes watching this one. But, yeah, look, Rabbits, very unfortunate. There's nothing left, and it's the story of the last 3 years. Your team's injured every week. I forgot what this full-strength side even looks like.
serious questions to the medical staff at South Sydney. Shout out to you. You're doing a great job. Warriors versus the Cowboys. I'll keep talking this up. Just make sure if you're attending Magic Round, be at this game. It's going to be a cracking contest. Atmosphere as well with the Wars fans. It's unbelievable. So make sure you are there. For the Wars, for the Warriors, the only change for the Warriors is Jacob Lagan drops out and Tamari Martin in the 14 jumper. Nikora remains at prop with Halasima in the back row. He's started named to start there once again. For the Cowboys, are absolutely on fire. Another unchanged squad from last week. The team that smashed the Titans. So unchanged, no surprises at all there either. Probably plenty to talk about in this game, to be fair. Both teams are in a lot of form. Cowboys are obviously scoring a lot of Supercoach points. Warriors have got a few players of definite interest as well, boys. So I'm guessing you've both got probably a few things to talk about here, Trav.
Yeah, I've got a couple. The first one is Aaron Clark. How good's he been since Dylan Walker went to the Para? Well, went to the Para. That wasn't a very well-worded sentence. But went to Para. Averaging 73 points per game in his last 4 games. That's ridiculous. He's 577K, dual front row forward, 2RF. Yeah, he's definitely on the radar of someone to be purchasing. I think he's shown just literally with Dylan Walker out how good he is. And where he's at, not sure if you... Oh, that's also with those scores that he's been doing. He's had 1 try assist and no tries. He has scored next to no attacking stats.
It's huge, isn't it? His PPM is way up, and that's just off the back of a couple of positional changes and obviously Walker out. But I just thought we would have had a pretty solid enough sample size of Aaron Clark by now in his career. But yeah, look, he's just, for whatever reason, he's decided to really turn it up. So 22 break even as well, misses 15 and 18, so the buys are a little bit rough. But look, man, he's doing all the good stuff. He's a jewel. You can't knock it. If you started with him like props, man, like it's been really good. So I know a lot of people that did start with him. It was a bit of a toss-up actually at the time between starting with him or Nuff White, and they're both very similar price, similar coverage. A lot of the same stuff going on. But it looks like Aaron Clark now has kind of just pipped him a bit more and run off with it outside of the buy coverage. But yeah, no, he's doing good things.
Yeah. Also love Wade Egan. Did a write-up on it. Check out the post on our socials. But very, like, I get that the numbers that he's got here don't scream by me, but I'm looking at it just thinking he's putting up 69 points per game. He's playing. He's in that hooker role. I know that there are people playing Sandon Smith there. I've got Starling there. I'm very tempted to try and find a way to go Starling up, but I won't until round 12. But I would love to have Wade Egan in my team and just lock that in. I get that there's a bit of injury risk with him. It is what it is. Most of my Supercoach players have some sort of injury risk. It's just the way it is with some of these guys. But yeah, I'm very keen on Wade Egan as well for the Warriors.
That's the thing as well with the Warriors. Like if you're planning on getting him in from round 12 onwards, you're missing him for the last 2 buys anyway. So it's a bit of an awkward one. If you have him now, sweet. If you want to buy him, it's like, when's a good time? It's kind of a tricky spot with the Warriors to buy him in if you're looking ahead for the buy rounds, which we can get into. Halasima as well, a good shout too. But for the Cows, man, far out. They friggin' monstered it last week. Hey, like they had 4 guys all ton up and like considerable tons too. Dearden with a 143, Derby with a 135, Drinky 132, Nanai 131, and then Talangi dropped to a 99, so he almost had it. That's freaking crazy. And like I understand they played.
Got none of them.
Talangi got 99 with a Simbin.
Yeah. Like I really just want to go, damn. Like the Cows have got it going, but again, like, do you get carried away with the Titans? Because they haven't done that yet. Could be the turning of a new thing, but yeah, I look at that and I just go, damn, I just want to play anyone who plays the Titans after watching that. And I think now we want to see the Dogs do it. A couple of good shouts for the Dogs there for playing like that. But look, there's really good options for them now too. Obviously Drinky we mentioned last week. I see a lot of people. Robert Derby's the most popular trade in, which we can get into in a little bit. But there's just a few that I'm not a massive fan about. Like Purdue's still killing it. Drinky again, massive. But a couple of the other ones I'm a little shaky on. But we can talk about that in the trade section.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Perfect. Next up, Tigers against the Dragons to round out the Saturday games. I'm actually looking forward to this one. It has a fair few storylines to it from an NRL point of view, which I'm looking forward to. But for the Tigers, yet another unchanged team looking to build on last week's Golden Point win against the Sharkies. And for the Dragons, Ilias has been dropped for King Togia, and Corey Allen sees his first footy for the season. And for, I think it's 2 years since we last seen him in first grade. Obviously missed all last year with that horrible injury he suffered in the preseason. Laurie with Finau out, and then Laurie to the reserves with Stewart at 13 and Jack DeBellin on the bench. And popular Supercoach player Dylan Egan is named to start. So there was a bit of reports around that he picked up an injury last weekend, but seems to not be the case, or at least at the moment. Maybe keep an eye on late mail, but for now, he's named to start, and everything looks okay with him.
Kind of hope there was a bit of an injury with Dylan Egan last week, because it would have made sense for his minutes drop. If there was something super minor, you'd be like, okay, cool. Maybe they're just taking him off to give him a bit of a breather. But yeah, without any bit of clarity, it's a bit of question marks, hey, because you just don't want him to lose any of those minutes.
Do you not get bad vibes about this one? So the last 2 weeks he's been named to come off the bench, and then an hour before the game he's been named to start. Now he's actually been named to start. I've just got bad vibes.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Because if I saw him on the bench, I'd be like, he's starting. But now he is starting. I'm sort of like, oh, I don't know.
It's just
the
bad
bench
vibes.
is so strong. The bench is solid. DeBellin, Gula, Leilua, like it's probably the best bench they've had in a while. And then you look at the starting lineup, and they've got Egan named and Hamish Stewart named. It's like, do we expect a bit of a shake-up? I really don't know. Hey, big one, I suppose, to really touch on. Like, obviously, all the Gutho talk, everyone's trying to work out what to do with him, if you're going to keep him or trade him. But the 5'8" situation sort of just got a new contender for a mass cheapie, 198k, King Togia. I'm going to watch this guy so hard this week. I had all these plans for 5'8", what to do with Jaden Campbell. I think I might just take 500k from Jaden Campbell now. Looks like a really nice option. But yeah, I want to see how he goes. It could open up a lot more for Gutho too, because the halves are kind of playing into each other and just cutting him out. So it's a bad week for question marks around him, especially Gutho with his break even. But I think it's probably worth a shout if you're happy to lose probably 50 odd K, but it's not ideal. What are you thinking about there? The Gutho end.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked at Joel's face and thought he might want to jump in there. He did kill him for everybody, so I think the community deserves to hear from him. But I'll speak instead. I actually I've messaged you, Jesse, the last couple of days around thoughts about Gutho. I've just got this feeling, and there's just something sitting in me that it's Gutho and I want to keep him. I know that it's tricky, but his last 3 games, round 6, they put on a heap of points and decided, as everyone's really eloquently spoken about, found another way to attack without Gutho in that game. Round 7 was that really wet game against the Storm, I think, wasn't it? Or it wasn't against the Storm, but whoever it was in round 7, it was wet and it was a tight game. And he got 57, which isn't a bad score. And then in round 8, they just got belted.
Manly.
So, if he went large in that round 6 game, which was sort of what we were kind of hoping would happen in a game, when they go and play as well as they did, he has a big game. No one's really talking about trading Gutho out, but because of the last 3 hasn't been great scores, and his price has dropped a long way, like it dropped 80 odd K last weekend. We're talking about this now. I'm kind of hoping with the new 5'8" that comes in, it kind of means that Gutho has to say, hang on a second, this is my team. I'm going to do it. I'm the king. Give me the ball. And I'll take over. And if that's the case, I want every part of Gutho. I get that he's not the draw over the Origin isn't great in terms of they don't play 12 and don't play 16. I get that, but I'm willing at this point in time to ride it for the next couple of weeks and just see. And if he drops price, he drops price. It is what it is. I'm just going to have to. But I sat there on Ponga and have got him sitting on the bench. I'm sure I can do it with Gutho. That's my thoughts on Gutho at this point.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. Joel, have you got anything to say about killing Gutho, mate?
I think
keep holding them, boys. All I'll say is keep holding them. It's worked for Ponga. It's worked with Ponga for you. So just keep holding them all. Keep holding them. So, like, we can all talk about if the game's changed, he would have scored plenty of points. And we can say that about everyone. The fact of the matter is, last 3 weeks he's been shit. You got to call it out. So I'm just.
Has he been shit though?
He hasn't. I don't reckon.
The Supercoach he has.
You're calling in terms of a Supercoach point, but he's been thereabouts. He's literally just one pass away or a drop or something, or one pass away or a drop, or from really not having this conversation at all. And that's what we need to. We need to do that. We need to analyze it like that, because that's how close it is with some of these guys in Supercoach.
Yeah, he could have definitely had more points than. This is the week to get off. Yeah, see, I feel like it might be. You know what I mean? Like, it could be the same as a Ponga situation, but again, like, you really don't know, and you kind of have to just go. It genuinely, like, if you're tossing up, waiting a week and then trading off next week, you should have done it this week. Same as Ponga. You know what I mean? I'm looking at Ponga now, like low 500s, thinking far out. I wish I could do something with him, but again, I should have done it last week, and realistically, probably should have done it 2 weeks before that. So it's very easy to say in hindsight. It only takes a ton. And all of a sudden, they kind of reset themselves a little bit. And again, like, Gutho's got it in him. Like, you saw at the beginning of the season, 113, 146, 130 against Para as well. So he's in the attacking stats. He hasn't had a game without a single attacking contribution, at least. It's just that the volume of him isn't there. And I guess that the Dragons have found, a bit more dynamic play. So, like, just not being directly through Gutho every time. So it's a bit shit. It's a bit of a head scratcher as well. I've been thinking about it for days, and there is a clear option. Well, it's not that clear, but there is definitely an option to go to. So we can get that into trade side. Been on Gutho for
just a quick shout out to Hamish Stewart starting at lock too. He's back.
Yeah, big time.
Starting at lock. Hopefully there's some more minutes. If that's the case, at 286k, there's a really good. He's got a break even of 30 odd. What is it? 33. He's a good shout out.
Yep.
A lot of people still have him too.
Yeah. Yep. Let's move on. Titans against the Doggies for the first of the Sunday games for the Titans, who have just been horrible. There's no way of sugarcoating it. No changes to the starting side. However, the bench does see David Fafita dropped, and joining him is Isaac Fa'asu Malawi, Cleese Haas, and Josiah Pahulu, with Jolliffe suspended. So a few of the younger guns coming onto the bench to hopefully provide a bit of impact, a bit of energy for the Titans. Pahulu has obviously got massive raps on him. He's the one that's highly touted to be moving to perhaps the Dogs next year, but maybe not now with the Leo Thompson signing. But yeah, massive raps on him coming through. And for the I've got a mental, but for the Doggies, for the Bulldogs, you have obviously from the suspension carnage on the weekend. Burton, Tupanua, and Curran are all suspended. So Hayward starts at 6, with Taff and Morin on the bench, and Daniel Saluka Fafita will start at prop. So a few changes there by the Bulldogs. What to discuss here, boys? Anyone who jumped on Dave Fafita, unlucky.
Yeah, absolutely. And now he's been named at 19. Jesus, what a shit show that is. How good's Fermor?
Yeah.
Just goes and pushes out 132. We again, another one that we did predict. I'm going to give credit where it's due to us here. We've predicted another one there that we said he'd be a good buy. He was a great buy, 132. Surely Desi wakes up to himself and goes, my team's better and he plays better if I just lock him into the second row. Surely. And so just leave him there. So in games he got 132 with a try and a try assist. In games that he's in the front row, he's averaging in an almost 78.6. So
second
wake
row.
up. Yeah, is that what I said? Isn't it? Yeah, sorry if I said that wrong. But surely Desi wakes up to himself. Just yeah. But other than that, I have zero interest in the Titans. Round 12, round 18 bye, and in between those two buys, they got to play Storm, Broncos, Manly, Eels, Cowboys. Come on now. Let's keep. I'm going to stay right away from that.
Oh, yuck.
The Titans. The Titans, after that 5 games, I reckon will have a plus minus of like minus 200. I could just see it.
And the rest.
It's going to be disgusting. I feel for them. I feel for them because I like the
I
Titans.
don't.
I like Des.
I
like Desi.
I reckon he's horrendous. I reckon he's probably one of the, if not the worst, next to AOB, the worst in the comp.
Shout out to you both. We hope to see you this weekend.
Genuinely, I'm just like, I just hear all this story about his, the mastermind that Des is, and I'm like, since when? How long's it been? You know what I mean? The future is now. He's rubbish.
Give it to him.
He's dead set been rubbish for so long, and the Titans have been rubbish for so long. Like, it's a perfect fit getting him in that side to look after him and dig a further, deeper hole for him as well. So this side, we spoke about it early days too.
Fans on the weekend, come say hello to Jesse.
Come say hello to me, man, and tell me what your thoughts are about how bad your side's been and how frustrating it'll be. Because
please just put up a sign. Please put up a sign to say that you're a Titans fan, because I'm going to be next to Jesse and I'll walk away at that moment because I want nothing to do with that.
No, how many times do we talk about how good their side should be and how bad it always is? And you know what I mean? Like, it's they have everything going for them, and then all of a sudden, the answer to a 50-odd drubbing is to drop David Fafita. He's the answer to that problem. It's like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, okay, he might be bad, but surely there's other problems in your side to not drop David Fafita to the reserves. Yeah. So it just frustrates the shit out of me. I'd hate to be on the other side as a Titans fan looking at this every week going, we're just going to get slapped all the time and everyone's going to laugh at us. I feel for them. It's just not fun. So I'm not having a go at any of the fans. I just think you deserve better than that, to be fair. And coming up against the Dogs now too, who, had their troubles. They're probably not going to do that again. So it's going to be a big one. I'm keen to see how they bounce back as well, because obviously we've got the Dogs pretty high up on the contender list too. So it'll be a good statement game for them. I think if they can put another 50 on the Titans, there's got to be questions asked about them. So yeah, a lot going on.
See what happens. Next up, Penrith against the Broncos. That's right, Penrith are 17th, guys. They are last on the ladder. For the Panthers, a couple of changes. So Casey McLean does drop out to the reserves in place of Luke Garner, who goes into the centres. Summerson is named at 9 with Talau at 14, pushing Snyder out. And then for the Broncos, the only change to the side is Jordan Ricky returning, which sees Piakura back to the bench and Tyson Smoothie dropping back to the reserves. I'm surprised Piakura is even playing this week after copping that sickening blow that he did last week. And I'm surprised he's not a mandatory stand down for the 12 days or so. So that's pretty crazy for mine. But good to see him safe and healthy and good to go by our reports. So what about this one, boys? Anything to add on here, or wait for when we get into things?
Zero interest in Panthers. Just really quickly, they got the round 11 bye. Then they've got 15 and 18. So 11, 15, 18 between here and end of round 19. I'm not zero interest in that. Plus, anyone that I'm interested in the Panthers is more than likely also going to be playing Origin. So no, thank you.
When do we sell Cleary?
Round 11, I would say. Yeah, get him out round 11. Or 12, either or, depending on what you've got to do. He won't drop anything, but yeah, I think that's probably a fair shout, considering, he's going to lose. He's going to miss that. Origin, he'll play one game, bye, or miss a game. Yeah, it's just easy sell. There's not a lot really going on. It's a weird one, isn't it, with the Panthers? They're just, it's 17th. They're dead last after, 7 rounds. It's freaking crazy, but anyone you would be interested in are playing Origin. So Sorensen failed his judiciary as well, so he's out for 3 weeks. I don't know if they've named his replacement actually yet. So
didn't someone say it was Scotty's season last week?
Yeah, and then he had to go and ruin it all for everyone.
Not much he could have done in that tackle. Really.
That's probably why they challenged it. But
we didn't talk about that last night on the live show. I thought we might have, Joel, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
We spoke too much. We had to move on, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it'll either be Gaia or IPAP, and it could potentially be IPAP season.
No, thank you.
Oh, here we go. He's been holding on to this moment. He has been holding
We're
on
not
to this.
wasting seconds of our valuable community to
we're
talk
not.
about him again. So let's move on.
We could. We'll move
Before
on.
I completely move on from this, just a quick question. Have you seen enough from Cobbo to potentially look at moving him into your side this week? Still a couple of weeks at fullback for him.
Loved what I saw on the weekend, but I wouldn't be getting him in because I reckon I think he plays Origin. So I'm just going to avoid that. I'm not going to get him in.
Yeah. You know what I have seen enough of to be considering? Xavier Willison. He's a monster, and he's probably going to get a dual 2RF too, which is so handy. But like, look, his price he's not cheap, but he's doing bloody good things, man. He's so damaging. I really like what he's doing there, and I think he might probably hold that edge spot out too. This could be the combination they just run with.
Madge, I think, said in a presser today or yesterday that he's looking at actually moving him permanently into that edge spot. He's seen enough at the moment to feel like he can actually make something of him. So that would be
100%.
a huge move.
Yeah, 100%, man. He's so good, and that's the thing. Like, if you can get that, that another front row position. I know there's a lot of them now that we're trying to squeeze into the team, but an 80-minute front rower. Essentially, he's going to have his jaw. But I love it. Hey, I love it. He's huge. He's got the ability to score tries. He can break a tackle every time. Yeah, he's just thrown himself into the mix with the rest of the gun front rowers now. Really good.
487k break even of 34 is owned by 2% of the competition.
Pod City, bitch. Pod City.
First 80 game, he gets an 85 against the best defense in the competition in the Bulldogs.
Yep, weapon.
Wow, keep an eye on him. Last game before we get in. I just looked at the time and realized how much we've spent on this. Melbourne against the Canberra Raiders. For the Storm, Kamika returns on the bench in place of Valipu. That is the only change. Fairlonger is named after that concussion last week from the sickening blow by Latrell Mitchell. And look out, he might be back on Magic Round. Wouldn't this be a good scene to see the big man? Nelson is named in the reserve list, so he might be back for the crowd to just really get into him. It's probably the thing every single person, apart from a Storm fan, can all agree on doing, getting into Big Nelson. It just seems to bring everyone together. For the Raiders, they named the same team that for now 3 weeks in a row, which is crazy. Like, how good's that for team structure and dynamics and things like that? Just to be able to build that's huge. Teams would be paying to do that at the moment with some of the injury lists we are looking at. So for the Raiders, that's magnificent. So what to talk about, if anything, for this one, boys?
Not a lot, eh? Not a lot for me. They're as they are. I really hope we don't see Nelson come back through. He's only going to kill his own teammates or knock someone out, be suspended again for a month. Liability and a half.
I'll give you a shout out to one Jerome Hughes, bottomed out at 620 thanks to a 16 that he got a few weeks ago. It's very rare that you're going to get a Jerome Hughes at 620k. But I mean, he doesn't play the 12 and 15 bye, which is frustrating. But I think he's a good shout out.
Yeah, it's definitely a good buy over that period, but it's just those buys kind of hurt. But I think he's probably a good trade for if you've got another halfback that plays the other opposite buys, like a Hines or something. I think Jerome Hughes is probably a good pair up with him. That way you have a half alternating every week. That Hines is off on his buy, Jerome Hughes will play back and forth. So it's a good little play, and he's a good little downgrade from Cleary too. You make probably by the time you do it, there's probably thereabouts 100k in it, give or take. So yeah. But no, there's not much else.
Put my feet up. Go, Jesse.
Okay, well, a bit of pie planning talk. So obviously we're about a month out now before we have to start really getting into the buys, and we all know that during buy rounds you get 3 trades, and those are the majors only. So round 12, round 15, round 18. We will put up a post in the morning, I believe, Joel. Is that correct? With the buy round charts? Yep. Fantastic graphic too. Shout out to Tanya on that one. But yeah, going through the teams, like when you start looking at the major buys, you're only going to have to field your best 13 players. So it's not going to be as bad, really. Like you can definitely work around it as long as you are there or thereabouts. You can field a team. If you play one or two short, like so be it. You know what I mean? A lot of people are going to be, and it's more about the quality of those than the quantity. And we kind of noticed that last year, holding on to the shitters and all the plotters that we were just trying to get a number for to get a 40 odd. All it takes is some rando in the middle of a buy round to come out with 120, and then it just makes it all irrelevant anyway. So as long as you're getting relatively prepped, don't overthink it. I reckon I'm going to probably try and be a bit lighter on for the buys this year, but in the round 12 bye, you've got Melbourne, the Broncos, the Cowboys, the Tigers, Dragons, Rabbitohs, and the Titans. There's only 3 teams that play every major bye. So Manly, the Bulldogs, and the Roosters. They actually play every single major bye round, but they do feel it in the minor buys. So the Bulldogs have their bye in round 13 and 16. So they're definitely something to consider when you're looking into those plans because um, those are 4 weeks. You have to field an entire squad. It's not like you get the luxury of just 13 individual players that you can field out. You have to pop your whole team out. And if you invest heavily in Bulldogs, in Sharks as well, and I'm pretty keen on getting some Sharks players in. If you're going hard in and getting Dogs and Sharks, you're not going to have those players in round 13 when you need to field a full entire side. So just make sure that you're looking at those. The Supercoach app's got a really handy little feature that you can drop down and show your buy round players. So you can kind of plan ahead. But I would be looking for sure at this point now, moving forward, to be trading players in that have some buy coverage at the very least. So if you're going to be looking at, if you're trading in an absolute weapon, say like a Tedesco, you know what I mean? Like, fair enough, he's got to buy tomorrow, next week, but he will play all the major buys, all the mini buys, and will have probably, providing he's not in Origin, um, he will have the most appeal and the most upside throughout the Origin period. So I think he's probably got to be up there about the number 1 target over that period. Same as like a Nico Hines too. He plays round 12, plays round 15, plays round 16. Also plays around 19, so he's got a buy in 18. So he plays in the minor buys too. So only misses one. Like, you got to look into these things, and you'll be able to see these charts tomorrow as well. And there's been a few pods that have put out some sort of information about them, maybe a smidge earlier. But um, if you want, we can go through some individual players, boys, that I've sort of picked out amongst it all, and just thought these guys could be of genuine appeal to even trade in now because they're not like they're just buy round players, but they will give you coverage as well as being good options at the moment. So, um, have you guys got this chart up at all? I know you both. Well, Trav's muted, so um, I'll just go into the hookers, and I'm going to be very, very short and sweet with this one. Sandon Smith has immense coverage, plays everything at the moment. Obviously, we're looking at the hookers like, what do you do? He just pumps out over 130 points. It's like, just play Sandon Smith. Seriously, there's other options in there. You've got Brayley and McInnes. I really like those Sharks players, and I think they've got great potential for it as well. But pretty capped on the upside. And I think obviously Sandon Smith now with that game in particular has just blown his ceiling right up, and it gives you the chance that he could probably do that again in depleted sides. So I really like the Sandon Smith play, and I think it's easy. He's I think he's in over 50% of the teams already anyway. When it comes to teams in the top 10%, he's basically in everyone's side. So if you've got him, just use him. Don't overthink Hooker too much. There's not much going on. If you don't, his price might be a bit far away, and he probably is going to get away from you by Origin. Riley Smith is the guy that I've got in there as a real cheap option. So he misses 15 and 18. It's not ideal, but he's 283k at the moment, 24 break even, and will play 80 minutes going forward. So yeah, just another potential downgrade option. But again, pretty easy stuff. Is there anyone else that you can think of, boys, in the hooker spot? It's pretty bland.
No,
Easy.
nah, it's as you said, it's not an exciting prospect at the moment, in my opinion.
No, and we've been pretty lucky that we've got Sandon Smith anyway, so you can just make it happen. But yeah, Trav.
Yeah, sorry, it's absolutely powering down rain here, and it's hailing. My wife just said so. Hopefully, the noise is not too muffled out from what's happening outside. But there's no one really I'm eager to buy. I'm pretty happy just to stay where I am. I think you shouted out some good players there. As Brayley and McInnes, I think as the Sharks boys are really enticing options. I'm still sitting on Starling with just the fact that Starling plays that that round 12, 13, 14, and then stops at 15. And so there, I'm just going to sit on that and wait till for round 15 to make a choice as to what I do from there. But yeah, Hooker is just that spot at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much. Front row forwards. Look, we've all, or nearly all of us, will be running with a combination of either Haas, May, one of the two, Horsburgh, Tino. You know what I mean? All these dudes, they're all guns. Good chance that all of them play Origin. So there's a very good chance that we don't actually have anyone in our front row come round 12. So that's going to suck. And we have to do something with them. And I think there's probably every chance that we have to trade someone out of that lot. If it was me in that position, which I will be, I'll probably be honestly looking at trading Tino out. I feel like he's the least damaging out of those few, or Horsburgh, obviously, like if he's selected for Origin too. If not, he's actually got decent coverage, and their fixtures are really nice, the Raiders. They play the Warriors in round 12, Roosters in 13, Rabbits in 14, so can do some good things. Their buys are 15 and 19, so you do get a bit of a stretch there. But again, if he does play Origin, you're going to get 3, maximum 4 games out of that entire buy period. So definitely worth a shout. Trade out on that side, but again, you expect all the other 3 to play, and I just think you're gonna need basically. I'll put a not a want, a need. You're gonna need Haas and May towards the end of the season. You just can't be without them after what we see every week in, week out with these two. Um, Tino not necessarily hitting those same strides, but still being very, very good. You need to trade someone. Like it has to be somebody. So I've got 3, but there's probably a couple more that might appear. Joe Tarpany is the number 1 for myself. I think he's just the clear and obvious standout as far as an option goes in the front row. Misses 15-19 again, as what I just said with the Raiders, but look, he's doing everything that the top 2 are doing already. So currently 750. He's not going to play Origin. He never will. He's averaging 79. I think he's just going to be the guy to get, and you're going to be able to work points around it. Another one I've got in there is Fanua Blake. Quite a bit cheaper, actually. Fanua Blake's dropped off quite a lot. He's 662k, 51 break even. So I feel like he's basically bottomed out now at his price. He does miss round 13. So it's the first of the mini buys. So if you are invested in Sharks, you just got to keep an eye out on how many you're losing, because if the Origin stars don't back up and you miss out on the Sharks players that you've just brought in for that round 12 buy, that's where you're really going to feel that sting, and that's the big part of it. Like you can usually cover one team buy pretty easily. Um, Again, the mini buys consist of 3 teams, and they also consist of Origin resting. So they're the harder teams, or they're harder rounds to cover than your major buys. So definitely worth considering. It's all going to be off a team by team basis too. If you don't have that many Origin guys not going to back up in general, you're probably fine. You probably get away with it. But I think he's really good price. 662. We know how good he is. He had a really good game last week. He's had a bit of an injury thing going on, but I'd imagine by the time Origin rolls around, there's probably not a lot to worry about. And yeah, he's got all the appeal of Tarpany, I reckon, between the two. And you could probably just go. We've done it in the past. We've gone Fanua Blake and Tarpany as the main 2 front rowers in our side. This year is very different. We haven't got either of them. So yeah, I think they're going to be good options. And Aaron Clark too. We kind of mentioned it too in the Warriors post, but 577, 22 break even. He misses 15 and 18. So you're going to get that first game. Potential to trade onwards from that point on. The 15 and 18 is it's going to be, I don't know. There's a fair few teams that miss those ones that are actually in quite a lot of sides, but you'll just have to sort of cross that bridge when you get there. And he might even be someone worthy of a hold. If he's a good price, you might even be able to flip him too. So just watch his PPM, because by the time it rolls around, you're probably going to be seeing Fisher Harris back in the side. Don't know if any of the other guys will actually go to Origin out of the Warriors, but Fisher Harris will be back. They'll have a few ins as well. They'll have like Tennis Lesniak in the side. They'll have Tuivasa-Sheck back in. So they could be rolling, could be in a good bit of form. But just watch the rotation with him. So any other front rowers, boys?
There's no other front rows I'm interested in, but I think it might be worthwhile just having a quick mention about some of the trade outs. So Payne Haas, just to talk to you about him. So the Broncos got that round 12 bye and the round 15 bye. So that's the game. That's the week before Origin. So you're essentially, it's worked out nicely that if they're not going to play, because they weren't going to play that anyways, having to go to Origin camp, he turns up for bye in round 13. But the Broncos, for their draw, just to be up front there, is they play Manly on Saturday night at Four Pines. So there's a very real chance Payne Haas backs up for that game. Then in round 16, they're at home on Sunday afternoon at 2:00 against the Sharks. So that should be a backup for him.
Yep.
Would you agree there? And then round 19. Now there's a potential because of who it is. The Titans. They play the Titans at the Gold Coast at 6:15 on a Sunday afternoon. That might be a game they don't play him, but if anything, he plays, but just on shorter minutes. So Haas is probably not one that I'd be looking at trying to trade out there. And if I was to do a trade, and this is a little bit funny, I'd be probably looking at Terrell May as a trade out with that draw, with those buys, the fact he's playing Origin and the timing of their games and when they play as a less opportunity. I think the round 13, they play Saturday afternoon, but they've got to go up to Townsville.
Yeah.
Round 16, it's Friday night. He's not backing up for that game against the Raiders. And round 19, there's a potential he does back up, but the game's in Auckland against the Warriors. It's just a long way to go. So it's a little bit, sounds a little bit odd, but Terrell May could be an option to trade out for this Origin period, but you'd be bringing him back in as soon as the time comes.
I feel like I want to disagree with you, eh? Like,
It's gonna be hard to get back
you know
in.
what? He's going to be very hard to get back in for one. But if you've gone from him to a Tarpany, like you're not trading Tarpany back out, I would imagine. Tarpany just going to ride through. The fact, when I look at the Raiders' run, pretty much from like their bye period onwards, I just feel like the Raiders do not have a hard game until the end of the season. I feel like when it comes to them, they're going to play bottom 8 teams for the rest of the year. I just think you're going to want as many Raiders by that point if they're still doing what they're doing.
Isn't Tarpany notorious for going on late runs in Supercoach as well?
This is the time to buy.
Yeah.
100%. You get Tarpany during the Origin period because of his appeal of not playing, and then you just hold him out because he just goes gangbusters for the rest of the year. And that's honestly, it's like you can almost predict it. It's like Britton Nickera getting, he'll always start slow. He'll get to this period, you trade him in for Origin, and then he starts tonning up, and then ends the season averaging 75. It's almost
Scary
like
thing is Tarpany didn't start slow this year either.
Exactly, yeah. Tarpany started killing it, and that again, I just don't see that slowing down. So, but with again, like all your points, Trav, are so valid. And if it was anyone else, I would 100% agree with you. But it's not anyone else; it's Terrell May, and I feel like if he has to back up 60 minutes in a game that's 2 days after an Origin game, he will. And I feel like they would play him too, and I think they probably would take him to Auckland and play him after 3 days from an Origin game. Like nothing about him worries me. Even the draw, he can have the worst draw in the world, back to back to back, and play 80 minutes. I just think he's going to do it. So I don't know if it's being unrealistic about what to expect from him, but I couldn't bring myself to trade him. Honestly, I really couldn't. I'd play with a man down, and I just cop an AE.
Yeah, but you've got to find people to trade out, right? So if we're going to talk around getting front row forwards, and you've got to make choices, someone's got to make way for these guys to sort you out through Origin. And if I was going to pick between the two, I'm picking that. And Tino's obviously is another one. He's got to go too. I would agree with that, but I'm not going Tino to May because I've already got them both, and so is everyone else. So I'm trading Tino out as well. But yeah, I was just more so just putting an option that if you're going to get an AFB and a Tarpany out and you're trying to decide who, well, these are the games that they play and when, and these opportunities for backing up and have that thought.
Yeah. Again, it's only like you have to field 13, so it's not like you need to rush both of these guys out. There's a chance you might not even need to rush either of them out, and you can field 13 with no front rowers. You know what I mean? So I just think for the front row side of things, those players are actually scoring better than anyone else are at this stage, and
easily.
Yeah, if you've got a Horsburgh or Tino, sorry, Joel, you go.
So just quickly, when you're talking about that, because some might be new to it, when you're saying 13, does that mean literally starting 13 or 17 actually turns into just your best 13?
Your
So
top 18. So we
It's
got a
your
list
top
of
sorry,
18
and 18 because of flex. So it's just your top 13 players. Off you go.
out of it's just
Yeah.
13 out of 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just want to
it's kind
clarify
of
that to
like
people. So
yeah, it's a fair thing to point out too, because I do know that there were some people last year that just thought I'll just get my best 13 scores without actually setting reserves on those players. You still need to set your team. Set it like you would set it every week. But think about it as like, oh, instead of having one flex player that drops out each week, you have what is it, 5 players that will drop out instead. So you still have to field your actual full side, but only the best 13 players, not the best 17 out of your 18. It would just be the best 13. So it's a lot more limited. Um, and yeah, if you don't have a position in your team, like if both your halves are out, for example, and but you've got 13 other players that are playing, they'll count instead, and you won't have an out. So it makes looping quite easy as well because you don't really have to worry about too much. You've got a lot of buys, you've got a lot of outs. You can just flip them in, and everything will still work as normal too. But it only looks at the 13 instead of the full 18 on the way up. So yeah, it's
we do have to move on with this because otherwise we'll go for 5 hours. I know our community
yeah,
loves our in-depth stuff.
yeah,
But just quickly for me, I know that I'll take the hit with Payne and May and things like that, but I'm just not trading them. I actually feel like Payne, because of now Maguire's the coach there and he knows how much they go through in Origin. I feel like Payne Haas will actually get a couple of rests during this campaign because it's just so much. So even though he can do it, I just feel like Madge will go, you know what, I want you in the back end as well. I'm happy to just take the hit. You got Willison in form. That's probably still going to be the back rower by then, but they've got some pretty decent depth there that can just get through the job for throughout those times. I think him and Carrigan will take turns in probably having a rest post Origin and just going from there. And I don't care, to be honest. I'm happy just to have both and just sit them there. I don't want to get rid of him. I'm scared I just won't ever be able to get him back in.
yeah, it's very hard with their prices. Hey, you can do a lot with that money, but you're gonna want like if you have to go into a round and not have one of those two, you'll just be watching from behind the couch and just be shitting
Yeah.
yourself.
They're 1 and
Second
2
row,
in the top points.
yeah, well
Crazy.
they're probably overall, like overall top
Yeah,
point.
top 2.
Yeah,
Top 2.
right. That's nuts. That's actually
I looked
insane.
at it tonight. I was like, wow, that I can't get rid of the top 2. Can't.
No, no, not like that. But even still, like yeah, shit, top two, far out by some margin too. Um, two RFs. So I sort of only picked a few out of these ones, but there's a lot of appeal with a couple of them. The Bulldogs, particularly playing every major buy. They do miss the 2 mini buys, which isn't very ideal, but again, the majors are really good. Preston and Kickout, I think, are both really good options, and I think it, the buy is this week for the Dogs, and you can kind of we saw it last week when they played the Titans, the Cowboys, and you wanted to talk about Drinkwater and these guys. The week was then particularly. I still think they're good buys going forward, but if you're going to get them in for the buy run, get them in now and play them in a really good matchup because there's points to be made. Um, Preston, oh God, I'm kicking myself for selling him. Started with him, sold him, and then all of a sudden he just turned it on. He's just gone bang, bang, bang. So 714k, 79 break even. Fantastic. Really, really good run. Joel, me and you both got him during Origin last year. Had, I think, 1 game out of him. He turned up and then he got injured, broke his jaw. So it didn't last very long. But seeing what he's doing now at the moment with Burton out, his average without Burton is in the 80s. So the ball's going to go right quite a lot, which means they're going to target that rabbit's left, which means it's a depleted time, like depleted team. I just think there's so many points this week, and I really think if you're going to get him, like do it now. Same can be said for Kickout too. So Kickout's quite a bit cheaper, 590. I'm not one to really advocate for a Kickout purchase, but the Kickout this season is very different to what we've seen in the past for him. And I really like what his game is doing. He's getting the ball. He's not the decoy anymore. His attacking stats are really high. He's got a lot of offloads in him. He's got try assists in him. He can score tries too, which we know Kickout can. But he tends to go quiet in the base side of things most often. But this year has been very different. So I really like what he's doing and what they're doing with him, using him properly. So 590k. He has gone up a little bit since the start of the season. I think almost 80 odd k. But yeah, I still think he's a really good purchase, and especially on that left edge too. for the Dogs. Yeah, look, it's good things, especially this week as well, in particular matchup wise, if you're targeting him. So both really good there. Dylan Lucas is another massive one. Plays every game until round 18. Mentioned him before, but get him. Just get him. Make it happen. Put him in your center wing if you can. Put him in your 2RF if you can't find another center wing to put out. I traded Nicholson for him last week. So Nicholson scored more points than he did, that was with a try, where Lucas can kind of just base his way to a comfortable mid-60 score at the moment. And then anything on top of that is attack. It's just all a bonus. And then you look at the matchups that the Knights have. Every round until 18 is really, really handy going into a lot of the bye period. And yeah, and like, you know what? I'd like to say no Origin chance, but maybe a smidge, maybe a little slither. So who knows? Who knows? But what do you boys got? Oh, actually, sorry, I've got one more. I'll quickly touch on. I think he's a buy probably next week. Britton Nickera with a 550k, 90 break even. Again, he's playing the Eels this week, so could be a really good purchase this round too. I think he goes ballistic anyway, but I think that there's a very set time to buy Nickera, and I think it's probably next week. So he'll be on my radar for sure. Boys,
yeah,
Trav.
I agree with all of that. Nicker was probably my favourite out of all of them. Unfortunately, I was a Preston owner too. Traded him out after round 3 when he had 44 and he goes and gets 122. It's probably stubbornness that I don't want to get him back more. So just admit defeat. I stuffed up and let it be. But yeah, Nickera is my one. Nickera, this was the time that I got Nickera last year when Nickera decided he remembered how to play at rugby league and became a monster and averaged like over 80. This is the time. This is what Nickera does. I get that he had a poor score on the weekend. I understand his base has dropped. I get that. I get all of that, but it's Nickera. I still think there's tries in him. There are lots of people through it that are saying that there isn't, but I think there is tries in him. He's ready to go. I want to get him in at least next week. I'm just praying this week that that he doesn't score that anywhere near that 90 against Para, because if that's the case, I'm happily getting him a lot cheaper, and I've got a good target to go for that. So yeah, Nickera is my favourite out of all of that.
Yep. Is just thinking off the top of my head, is there a Cowboys edge or front rower that you're interested in? Because I look at their draw, and apart from round 12, they literally just play and play some more. And the harder games that they do play during that time, their harder opponent is affected in some way, somehow by Origin. So I'm looking at them just thinking, if I can get a few of their non-Origin players that are of appeal, I'm very tempted.
Bateman.
Unfortunately, there's not a great deal.
You're gonna go. Is that where you're going to, Joel? Is that what you're trying to say?
Johnny Bateman, I apologize. Come on down, Johnny.
Look, I think, like we've mentioned Bateman very early in the season too. He's really good for a 55, I reckon. Their run's decent too. Like the Cows have got something half decent going for them once they get past the round 12 bye. But again, like I don't know, for that price, the 515s ish, you get Nickera. He's going to be that close. He's almost going to be that price next week, providing he doesn't go crazy. There's a couple other guys that you kind of look towards, and I just don't think they've got too much appeal outside of your Drinkwater, your Purdue. You know what I mean? Like it's more about the attack guys. The forwards they've always lacked it for me when it comes to the Cows. And like Nanai's, who knows? Is Nanai going to get picked for Origin? I don't know. I don't think so. He's been relegated to the bench most of this season. So now that he's sort of come back out, had a massive game, like he could be. His break even's 5, but like, would you be buying him now on the chance that one, he's not picked for Origin, and then he's got a round 12 bye anyway? Plus, Nanai is notoriously hot and cold. So, yeah, I just don't think they've got the players to really target anyone in the forward pack. I think you just target the backs, and then again, like they're Origin affected too.
Just putting it out there, just like their run.
Yeah, their run's good for like a Scott Drinkwater or a Purdue or something, 100%. That's why we talk about him, but I just don't think they've got any sort of valid option.
If we hear word that Dearden misses out just because obviously Munster's back, Harry Grant's fit, things like that, goodness me, after round 12, even before that, I'll just take the hit for round 12.
Problem is that he's going to be
so
650k.
Yeah, it'll be too much.
Yeah.
He's got
Way
a
too much.
He's 594 now. He's actually only dropped 3K from his starting price at the start of the year. He's got to break even at 5.
You just go now and you cross everything you've got.
You're almost having to take that risk and do it now, and pray to the gods that he doesn't play. But
Yeah, I just think
I think he
gets
does.
selected.
So I don't think
you get 14.
Yeah, so at least I think he's just got to be in that team anywhere. 14 would probably make sense, but again, Origin is a whole different pod. We get too carried away.
We're going to get one. We're going to do one soon. We'll tease the viewers. I've got something in mind. We'll get to it soon. We'll see who's interested. So we'll in a few weeks do an Origin one.
Alrighty. Any other 2RFs, boys? Nope.
Move on.
Like, there's probably a shit ton, but
yeah, we'll talk about them throughout the next few weeks. But
yeah, these are just the quick ones that I just glanced through, and I'm like, I really like what this person can do. So just going into the halves. Again, there's 3 actually that have appeared now, and one's sort of come from the clouds. But first one, Jerome Hughes. I think we sort of mentioned him a bit before. Misses round 12, misses round 15. So 2 major buys, not ideal. Plays the mini though, like he plays the Storm actually play all the mini buys, and they play 18. So their run is decent, and their fixtures are really good. They play the Titans in round 13, Cows in 14 at home. They play the Rabbits in 16. They play the Sharks in 17. Cowboys again in 18, and then the Knights. So there's a lot of good games in there for him. I just think he's a very healthy downgrade from a Cleary. Depending on who your halves are, I just think he's the best option to trade from, at least to bank some cash. And then I feel like from that point on, you've probably a good chance you can just ride him out for the rest of the season. And just work out your half situation. If you've got, like, I'll most likely in that period be running with, I've already got Hines. I'll be moving Cleary to Hughes, and then it may be the way that I end the year running through that way. And I think it's probably fair to do that. But at least one of the two, Hines is another guy that I've got in this list as well. So there's a lot of non-Hines owners out there. You two are both some of them, but 612k, look, he's so cheap for a Hines, and I think he's really starting to come into it. Like last week, he looks really good. A few tries, he could have had a couple more as well. Hazelton got taken down. Nickera dropped the ball on the line. Like all of a sudden, that's a 110-point game for Hines, and he's mass traded in this week. So it didn't happen. 55 break even, it's low. Like I thought I was getting Hines at a relative floor. He's dropped probably 80k since I got him, and I think it's probably a good time to get him. We know the Sharks run is really good. Look, just make it easy for yourself and just run with something solid on that side. Look, you might cop a 60 or a 50 here and there, but Cleary's doing the same thing. Pretty much all the halves are. So he's number 2 for me on that run. Actually, potentially, I'm going to say Hines is number 1 for me, just because of the Sharks, the Storm's major buy rounds that he's out. Hines is number 1. Hughes will be number 2. Number 3 is actually Jamal Fogarty now. Look, he's been very good this year. He had a cracker of a game. He's consistent as anything, and I think that's super reliable at the moment because we haven't had a lot of consistency in the halves, beside them being consistently annoying. Misses 15 and 19, so easy 60-pointer with upside. I just want to see now what happens now that the whole Manly news has come out. If any part of him changes at all with his game, I don't think it does. We've obviously seen how Manly have gone with Cherry Evans' reaction, and they've been pretty poor. I just don't know if the Raiders are going to react as poorly, but I think Fogarty's a really good shout. Ownership's super low. All the draft owners out there rejoicing about how good he's been. I've got him in one of my teams, and Joel's got him in one. So, yeah, he's been very impressive. Could do much worse in a very weird halves year. So there's nothing really standing out yet, but he's been decent.
Hey, I bet you can't figure out I bet you can't predict what Jamal Fogarty will get this weekend as a minimum. Ready? 51, 65, 60, 64, 61, 64, 79, 125. What do you reckon as a minimum he's going to get this weekend?
128.
60? Like he's done it every bloody week. Like other than the round 1 where he got a 51, he went 6 games in a row where he got a 60 and then a 79 and a 125. Like you can go much worse in a decision there for sure.
100%.
Welcome on board, boy. Welcome.
Problem is, he's 60k. He's more expensive than any of them.
Yeah, that's the issue. If he was back down again, like when you average 60 every single game, you're eventually going to be 600k. Unfortunately, when you bang out, a big ton, you go up quite a lot. So yeah, 8 break even, he's going to go up again. He's going to be in the 700s. He'll probably be a good chance 100k dearer than Hines and Hughes by the time you want to trade him in. I think it might be too much when you see the other options that you have on hand. So I think there'll be a lot of trades going to Hughes and Hines, not many going to Fogarty, and I think Fogarty is probably going to be more reliable. So yeah, that's the halves. Anyone else?
Nope.
Cool.
No.
Honorable mention, Isaiah Katoa. Could be good.
I was actually about to say him, but I thought I better not.
Yeah, look, I don't have anything on him at the moment, but he's obviously been doing what he's doing. He's killing it. So center wing, there's a shit ton now. So I'll try and be pretty, quick and short with a fair few of them. But Kyle Lero, Sharks run, again, broken record. Kyle Lero is probably going to be in the top 3, 4 center wing discussion for the season. Providing he can come down a little bit in price, but not be a nice buy. I don't think he does, though. I think he might just keep doing what he's doing. And he could be a very fantastic buy round option to jump on. Ruben Garrick. Now, we've all got Ruben Garrick. I'm not trading out Ruben Garrick. People have traded out Ruben Garrick, and there are some teams that have never had him. He plays every major buy round. Misses 15, misses 18. So a couple of minis, but it's Ruben Garrick playing every major buy. Like he has to be he's a must buy. Must in capital letters, must. You have to have him for your origin period. If you go into most games there, look, they're not going to have Cherry Evans, most likely. They're not going to have Turbo, most likely. Not going to have Olakawatu. It's quite a depleted team. Like someone has to step up, and more often than not, it's Ruben Garrick when that happens. So I think he's probably the go-to. He's almost just off 700k, 87 break even. He can ton up against anyone. So you just buy him whenever you can. I don't think it's worth. It's not. He's not the player to try and wait for an off game and then buy with a low break even once he's bottomed out. There's very little chance he bottoms out at all. So yeah, he's a good one. Dill Lucas, you can see the 2RF notes. You can play him in the center wings as well, both as viable. So yep, Lucas is good. Herbie Farnworth. So I currently have him. I'm stoked for it. He misses 13 and misses 18. So a couple of minis, or one mini and a major, but at the back end, just base stats, just weapon. He's just off 720k, 60 break even. He will go up in price off a 60 break even. I can assure you on that. And he will just continue to do that too. He's just going to keep banging out the 60s to 70s. He might ton up every 3 or 4 games. He's got to be in the list there for sure.
The 13 is an annoying one.
The 13,
because
yeah, well,
because looking at the teams, you're going to have players who by then in their teams will probably have Karaz and probably have Iro in their team as well. So you're going to have 3 of your big guns in that position all out at the same time. So
yeah, and that's the thing that I was 100%. You have to look at that too. And that's the thing. You can't just look at, oh, cool, they play round 12. I'm just going to get all the round 12 guys in. It's viable for round 12, but you only get 13 of those scores anyway. So just make sure those 13 are good, and then look at round 13 and make sure 13. I have a team that I can field. I need 17 of these guys at the very least, or 18 obviously, and then flex one out. But if you're mass trading in Sharks, Dogs, and Dolphins, you lose them all, and then you will be down players. You will be behind the curve very quickly, and that's the priority, is just to make sure you can field a full side. The Knights are a great counter to that. Who's my next? Actually, I can put them into the same discussion. 2 of them, or 3 actually, coming off the back of Lucas. But Greg Marju, Fletcher Sharp, and Lucas, the 3 of them play every game all the way through to 18. So Sharp will most likely be the fullback, I would imagine, with Ponga at Origin. Sharp at fullback at the moment, currently priced under 600k as a dual. He's very appealing. I think he's a really good option pretty much every week anyway. The Knights just have to find their groove again. Like, we saw how good Sharp was the first 2 weeks, and we thought, far out, like these guys have got some damaging attackers. They've just gone to shit. So they'll come back. Like, they'll find it. They'll find it, I hope. And obviously Greg Marzu. Who knows? Greg Marzu. Look, his bye week was what, last week, when his break even was in the negatives. His bias should have been at the beginning of the season when you started the game, but look, he's solid. He's 625k, still really good price for him. Really good floor, very high base stat numbers just for whatever he's doing out there, looking half rubbish and disinterested for 40 minutes. He'll still pull out a 50, and you just go far out. Very easy. I'm glad that Trav's been the voice of reason many weeks when he just annoys me doing nothing. And then I see the rescores come through and he's, 55 pointer doing nothing. You go,
Yeah,
cool.
but the last week he got 49, but guess who brought him in?
Oh, that's right. The guy that kills everyone who's
Yeah,
very relevant.
the
Here we
Supercoach
go.
killer. So,
Oh, yeah.
it's all right. Apologise, community.
That's
I've
right.
really enjoyed being a Marju owner. It's been great.
Yeah, you should have had him the week before. It was even better.
Uh,
Yeah, so the Knights are good. The Knights are a really good target. Their draw is decent enough, but again, at the same time, this Knights side, every team is hard. So they play the Panthers in round 12. Again, that Panthers side is probably going to be quite light. So best case scenario for them. Then they play the Dragons, they play Manly, they play the Roosters, Dolphins, then the Raiders. Then they've got a bye. So they should be able to do something with some of those games at the very least. They come back from their bye and they play Melbourne. So not ideal. But again, that stretch of games is more valuable than anything. One I absolutely love, and I don't know how to do for my own team. Mark, see if I can get it. Nawanga Tawasi. I've been practicing and I keep getting it wrong. So
Just mark him up.
big Marky Mark. Joel, you're good at that one. I need you to get you just to bloody give me a little voice clip so I can just click the button and you just say it.
halfway through that, you almost started speaking Chinese. So shout out to the Chinese viewers out there. We
It's
have a
funny.
few.
The chair in the corner of the room started floating. So I was like, what's going on? Oh, shit. My
Mark
wife's actually been playing.
Nawanga
Nawanga
Shout out to you,
Tawasi. I
brother.
got it. Locked it in.
Big.
Clip that one. Won't
How
embarrass
many
me.
times have we said that this weekend? I reckon I'm going overs or unders 20.
I'm going overs 49 and a half.
Overs
A half
for
because
sure.
I can't get it right. 100%.
Oh.
575k, 43 break even. Look, man, this guy's a talent. He's so good. Plays all the major buys, plays all the mini buys. Probably as far as center wings go, right up there with the most appealing. Just top shelf. Like his coverage is fantastic. The games that they miss, so he misses round 14. So it's the second. Oh, that's a standalone buy, just for the Roosters alone, and then they miss round 17. So again, another standalone Roosters buy. If you haven't got 1,000 Roosters in your side, you can probably make do with it. Manage. Yeah, you probably have Sandon, maybe a Teddy by then. Mark, probably a Rob Toyer. Who else? You know what I mean? Like Angus is going to be off at Origin. Not many people have Sua Wong, though he's been pretty good. Nafahu White is probably a popular one for that period as well, with the dual positioning. But look, man, if you've got 3 or 4 of them, you could probably make do without having to worry too much. If you've got any more than that, it's like I probably hesitate to buy more in unless you're just flipping like Billy Smith, Rob Toyer. One of the two might be an upgrade option. I know it's going to someone in the same team, but it's someone who's much better in the same team. So yeah, I really, really like it. I just think he's going to be super valuable. And when you look at his percentage too, and I had a look at his overall ownership, I think he's in 4% of teams at the moment. But then I dived a little deeper into his ownership into actually, he's in 8% of teams. But when you look at how many players own him in the top 10%, 5.8%. So it drops for people that are in the top 10%. So it's a lot of teams outside of that have him. You go to the top 1%, which again, you're really playing with the 1% too much. 76 teams in the 1% have Mark in their side. So overall, as far as it goes, he's a pod. He's a super pod. Nobody has him. And if you're talking top 10% numbers to be less than 5%, there's nothing you can do. Like you have to consider that. That's the difference maker there. Not a 30 or 40%. I like genuinely, you're talking a handful of players have this dude who's been beasting it every week. So big segment on him. Deservedly so too. Very, very good player. So really good one to get in. And the last one that I've got on my list here, very popular in, and you can consider these numbers compared to Mark's one. It's Jacob Carraz, number one, I would say, as far as favorite player list goes in the center wing side. But they play all the they play all the major buys too. They do have a couple of minis, but he's elite, and you just would have to get him in as soon as you have the money for it. He's 680k, 81 break even. So I feel like he probably exceeds that break even this week with the team that he's playing in the Rabbits. Um, Good week to get him in. Really good week to get him in if you're chasing fixtures at the same time as buy coverage. So the only real discussion around it is Carraz a shout for Origin? And if he is, then he's not a good buy at all, and he's probably a trade, I would say, considering if he's going to miss the mini buys, he's going to miss the majors on the Origin side of things. It's going to hurt, but I don't think that's very likely. So um, yeah, you can go from there. So I'll just compare Carraz's numbers very quickly before we move to the next segment. Carraz in the top 10% is 42.5% owned. When you climb that up into the top 1%, it becomes 62.2%. So he's a great option. You look at his um, numbers and you say, oh, wow, he's 10% owned overall. The 10% that own him are in the top pack already, or a majority are. So if you're trying to make ground, you're going to make ground on a lot of the guys behind you who don't own him. But in the top 10% where you want to climb into, everyone's got him, or the majority have him. So consider a mark. You know what I mean? Like his base numbers are insane. His wing points, he's a 70-point player on average when he's doing these things at like immensely low ownership in comparison. So always filter it down into your percentage bracket to see who's in front of you. But then my center wings. There's probably a fair few more, but anything else in the center wing side, boys?
No, no. I'd probably just make the point of saying think players like Samala, who some people are probably thinking are starting to become a bit of a sell to make plays. He actually has a decent buy coverage coming up. So for me, like I'd be holding him at least for now, just to get me through a few of these games coming up that we will have some of these big guns out and just to give me that number.
Yeah, for sure. And it just depends. It just depends on what their price are and what their break evens are, and if you think they're a viable sell at the point. But don't get stuck holding players just because they are a number. But if they are performing like Tamale is, he's definitely a play. Like you wouldn't consider doing anything else. You're not going to sit him for those weeks. And if he's a better option than some of the other guys that you can purchase, then just don't worry about trading. But yeah,
He gives me both vibes of last year. It's like the other week I almost got rid of
Bostock,
him. And then
I
no,
did.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's giving me Bostock vibes.
Big
So
time. Yeah, 100%. He just sort of went lull and then went bang bang, and now
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
crap. Now his cash has restarted. But yeah, I traded him out right before he got that 89-point game, and I traded him to Herbie, to be fair, who scored more that week than he did, but for
Take that.
250k more. So you'll take it, but yeah, it just depends on who you're trading to. It doesn't hurt as bad. Fullbacks. Oh, sorry, just with the I'll just go back. It wasn't the Rabbits that Kraz is playing, it's the Titans, who is even more appealing. So, yeah, chase that matchup. Um, yeah, fullback. So this is a bit of a head scratcher now, and we'll probably get into it as well when you start talking about the current trades for the week. But um, Drinkwater, Tedesco, Pappenhausen, Gutherson. It's pretty much the debate between them. You can't really consider Latrell, Turbo, as an option at the moment, I would say, even after once Origin's finished. Dylan Edwards probably be the fullback as well for the Blues, and then you look at Ponga, he's probably going to be the Maroons fullback too. So those guys they're off the cards. Drinkwater, Tedesco look like the go-to at the moment. They're the guys in form. They both come off pretty much 130 each last week. Um, Really kind of threw us a little bit. I didn't expect either of the two to go as big as they did. I was hoping for just an average score between the two would have been nice enough to get us closer. But now they've almost forced your hand. You almost feel like you have to make a move now, otherwise you're gonna miss the boat on them. Tedesco is pretty far away anyway. 856k, 81 break even. Um, that's pretty much Tedesco most of the time. You're basically buying him at an elite price for an elite player, and you spend up for what he can do. And you just got to be comfortable with it. You just got to, it is what it is with him. Drinkwater's a good chance to get to that point too in a couple of weeks. So you just got to be careful you don't miss out on him, especially if you've got a Gutho who's about to lose a lot. Um, I looked at it last week when Gutho was 800k, and I had a boost. My last boost, I had it lined up. I was going to go Gutho to Teddy. I thought, oh, I don't want to do this for my boost, my last one. There's probably not a great deal in it. Their break evens are both over 100. Yeah, now that is now, what is it, 80, 90k between the two almost, and they're very far apart where they were very close before. So it can happen quickly, and it will probably happen again if you're looking at doing a Gutho to Drinkwater now as an alternative. Teddy might be a bit far away depending on if it's a 1 or 2 player trade, but if you can go Gutho to Drinkwater as your option, just be wary that there's probably going to be over 100k between the two of them next round, which will hurt even more. So yeah, if you've got a Gutho and a Ponga, like myself and Trav and many others do, yeah, look, you're losing a fair bit of coin at the moment, and is it worth? Do you jump off and do you get onto one of these other two guys? It's a big question. You just got to roll the dice. Fullbacks can go big at any week. I'm really actually quite optimistic with Ponga this week. I've been optimistic with Ponga for the last month, but I think this is the week. You know what I mean? So, um, same thing with Gutho. Like, you think if this is the week they're playing the Tigers again, it's not the Tigers of old. But again, it's not like the Gutho of old either. But the Gutho's been quite good this season. He's still getting all the attacking stats that you want him to. It's just that he seems to be missing quite a lot. So, or getting cut out of quite a lot to not have his hand on the last pass or being that last guy that's getting those points. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I do have essentially the top of the pack, Drinkwater and Tedesco, the guys. I haven't really put a lot of emphasis in Pappenhausen because at this point, I hope everyone already has Pappenhausen. So if you don't have him and you're wondering why I haven't mentioned him at all, it's because you should already have Pappenhausen. He's the guy to have at the moment, and I think actually Meany came out and confirmed that Pap's the kicker long term on the radio. So he's that's exactly what you want. It's the only speculation is Pap's going to lose the goal kicking at some point, maybe when Meany's fully fit. No, it seems like Pap's the guy again, so he'll be goal kicking from now on, and yeah, you should have him. He's got 110 break even, so he's almost 800k. It's quite dear. 110 break even, maybe loses a bit of coin, a smidge. I hope he doesn't. I hope he rises, obviously, as an owner. But yeah, I think he's going to be a good buy. But he does miss round 12 and he misses round 15. So yeah, it's not what you want to be buying in for the Origin run. If you're going to buy somebody in for that period, it's going to be Drinkwater, I would say, or a Tedesco. But Drinkwater misses 12 and plays every game for the rest of the season. I believe. I will confirm if I am right on that. Doesn't miss a game
This is
after round 12.
27.
Oh, well, misses the last round, which we don't, really look too much at anyway. So, yeah, basically he's going to ride you through till the end of the year, or end of the season, sorry. And then Tedesco will play every major, every mini. So super valuable on that side too. It's just, if you can get both by that time, I think that's the goal. If you want to try and jump on somebody now, Drinkwater is going to get a bit further away than Tedesco will. Providing Teddy doesn't just go 130 every week again like he can. So I just think you just got to go, if that's the game plan and you go, I want
And doesn't play
Tedesco
Origin.
and doesn't play Origin. What are your chances on Teddy playing Origin too? What are your thoughts on that? Is there a shout that he could?
I mean, 2 weeks ago, I thought it was 0% chance, but to be honest with you, I don't think Edwards has been great. So Tedesco is killing it, and there's no denying that whatsoever at the moment. And Laurie Daly continues to say he's picking on form. He continues to emphasize that. If he wants to stick to his guns and pick on form right now, I'd be picking Tedesco. Like it's a no contest in my opinion. But Edwards is the best fullback in the game, or was the best fullback in the game before shit's hit the fan a bit for Penrith this year. So it's a very interesting one because if Cleary plays, I think Edwards definitely ends up playing. If somehow Cleary doesn't get picked for whatever reason, if it maybe an injury pops up or whatever, then perhaps Teddy's more of a chance. Also, if Moses is 5'8", him and Teddy obviously very good mates, have a bit of a connection there, things like that. So that could help his case as well. But I honestly feel like right now it's a dead heat. I can't split either of them at the moment. It's so close. And I think it's actually a pretty good thing to have because we know Edwards can step up, but at the moment, Teddy's just in form. Yeah, and then the forgotten man, like Paps, even if Paps got picked for the Blues, I'd be more than comfortable as well. He's playing so well as well.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to mention that too. Like, if you're saying he's picking on form, it's like, well, where do you sit them in the ladder? Because I would have Pappenhausen above Edwards even when it comes to it, and then I have Tedesco above all of them really. So yeah, it's a bit of a discussion to think too. And like you talk about the Roosters and their fantastic buy coverage. It's fantastic for the guys that don't play Origin, but for the guys that do play Origin, it's the worst. It couldn't get
Yeah.
any worse. Genuinely, like if you
Like
have
Angus,
anyone,
you won't
so
be getting.
Angus and Watson, well, more particularly Watson, I would say, because Angus isn't highly owned anyway, but he's definitely not a buy. Not at this stage. But if you've got Watson, like many do in their hooker position, even in their 2RF, I've seen him in a couple of spots. He's got to go. Like he has. If he's in that side, which if he's not the 14, then I don't understand what's going on. But he needs to be traded, man. He's going to play what 3 games out of 12, about 8.
Mm.
7. It's not
Ugly.
enough. You have to. You just got to get him. Got to get him out. Free that coin up. Do something else with it. So yeah, if Teddy is picked for Origin, man, that's gonna shake it all up because one, it puts Edwards in contention because the Panthers have a run, and if he's not named, he's going to be quite cheap. Um, but then yeah, it's just like all these people going to be mass trading out the most expensive player in the game. Essentially, that frees up a lot of money to do a lot of crazy things with. So we could see some wild stuff. I'm very very keen to see what happens there. But again, I still think it will be Edwards. But part of me just thinks, man, Teddy's got to get a look in still. Like he's not dropped off at all.
Mm.
Um, Edwards was just an anomaly
And
last year.
it's
So yeah, Drinky, good option, 750k. I think he's the go. Teddy again, see what happens. 850k. If you can afford him, I think you can get him. Definitely get him first. But you have a buy next week, so you just lose him next round. If you can cover that for whatever it means, you could wait till 11 if you wanted to. I think the Dolphins is quite a hard matchup um, for them this week, so it could be worth waiting. But again, I just don't think it's worth at all. Really, rolling the dice. Perhaps own him already. Fletcher Sharp, dual fullback, will be covering for Ponga, 587 currently as a dual center. You can get him in your centers now and work something out. Maybe you can trade something or flex and move him around. But I think Sharp's a really good option. And again, Gutho. So by this stage, we're expecting Gutho to have lost a bit of coin. Decent run for the Dragons. They could be good for it. He's obviously not going to play any Origin games, but um, anticipating a pretty significant price drop, I think Gutho could be really appealing for it. So the Dragons, they missed 12. Play the Knights, the Finns, the Sharks, buy in the mini buy in around 16. Play the Eels, the Raiders, then the Roosters for the run back. So coming off a buy, playing the Eels again. I like that for Gutho. And I think if you're going to get him, that might be a good time to do it if you don't want to hold him and own him through that period. Um, if you're like me and you're looking at probably trading him this week, might be worth maybe buying him back. He could be very cheap by then, maybe if he doesn't keep performing. If he does keep performing, just let him go. And you've traded him, just say goodbye. But yeah, it's a lot to unfold when it comes to the Origin stuff. So that's that's pretty much where I was up to over the next couple of weeks. I reckon this will probably get a bit more refined, and a couple of more players will work out, and we'll know what the prices look like, who are actually the relevant buys at the time. But I think they're just players to make a short list for yourself and just pick guys that you like, things that have good coverage, and then just sort of whittle through and see who you can afford and when you can make stuff happen. So that's my little buy stuff on that
well
end.
done, mate. Thank
Thank you,
you.
mate. We'll
Brilliant. I've
post
already
a lot.
made a little bit of notes myself, so well done.
Oh, good. Glad that helps, man. So, look, I'm very briefly just going to go and touch on maybe just the top 5 trade in and outs this week.
Yep.
Trade outs: Hiroti, Cant, Jenkins. Um, they've all Hiroti's injured now and basically dropped out the side, and so is Cant, fully dropped out of the side, with everyone back and fully fit. So they're both viable trade outs. Again, they're not losing any coin, so it's not a mass thing, but they've done what they've had to do. They're both pretty much the same amount of money, 420, 430k. They've both made 145k, almost identically. So yeah, thanks for coming. You were good for 2 weeks and you're off. That was the whole plan. So make something happen with those boys. Jenkins again, he lost a little bit now, and he's basically just capped out 63 break even. He's got to go. Um, who knows what's going to happen? He's got Garner inside him at the moment, but again with Sorensen getting the 3 week suspension, there's probably a chance that McLean maybe comes back into the side, and Garner goes into the second row, and then you've just got bloody glue hands ruining Jenkins again. So I think Jenkins is a pretty safe trade out. Lots of good options too. Maybe look at the list of centre wings that we just spoke about. Could be a worthy shout to get him into anyone. Price wise, the easiest one to get him to, surprisingly enough, is the most appealing for me. It's Mark. If I could do a Jenkins to Mark, I'd love that move. So definitely something to consider there. Let me just get my little list back up here. Clint Gutherson. So probably worth a talk about this one. We just mentioned it just before, but 717k. He's out by almost 9,000 people. 129 break even. He's going to lose a bit, unless he goes obviously bonkers on it. But what are your plans? All three of us have Gutho.
Yep. I'm kicking myself I didn't do this last week, to be honest. But yeah.
Well, then allude to it. What's going on? What are your thoughts with Gutho?
Oh, it's him to drink. For me is if you have the cash to go to Teddy, I would probably say that would be the elite trade in. But I think the realistic one, for me anyway, it's just him to drinking. I'm not even going to think twice about it. It makes so much sense. One more buy to get through for drinking, and it's just smooth sailing. I'm more than happy to take that on. I've done the same with Ponga a few weeks ago. I took the risk when a lot of people and you guys were riding Ponga still going, no, he's ready to go. And I just said, no, I'm not doing it. And I'm feeling the same vibes here with Gutho. I just think not him as such, because I still think he's putting the effort, but I just think the Dragons are a bit off at the moment. And I'm not as high up on the halves changing that's happening as you guys. If anything, I think King Tonga is an actual really good player. So if anything, he might do a lot more. So which might hurt Gutho even more. So I'm a bit hesitant about that one as well. So I just think there's too many question marks. And while I can make that trade to Drinky on my side, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of those thoughts. I feel very much the same. If I hadn't already lost so much on Ponga, I may not be in the same position, but I don't want to do it twice. And that's where I'm sort of sitting. Trav, what are you doing?
I don't know yet. To be completely honest, I don't know yet. I've made a case. I've gone both ways. I've made a case to trade him out because I want to get Drinky. It's going to cost me 40k or 33k more to go Gutho to Drinkwater. It's 140k to go Gutho to Teddy. I'll talk about my trades soon. I've been able to make a case for keeping him or trading him. I can't decide just yet, and I'll make a decision by Friday.
Yeah. I just feel like without context, and obviously without what we know that Gutho has started the season and what he did in trials and what he did to start off with and all these massive games that he had, if you were just to say who would you rather have between Gutho and Drinky, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's Drinkwater.
I'd rather Drinkwater, yeah.
Every day of the week. So obviously it's a different team, it's a different sort of setup for Gutho, and he's got that ceiling for it because it's kind of all his, but it doesn't seem to be that way lately. But when you look at the numbers and you break down their base, power, and average and their stats, honestly, there's not a lot between them. You're splitting hairs and you're trying to pick the stats that, point to the decision that you want to make. So you're pretty cherry picking when it comes to the two of them. But look, there's so much more. They're so similar where you have to just look at the rest of the side. Who plays more games between now and then? It's Drinkwater. Who's got better buy coverage? It's Drinkwater. Drinkwater kicks goals. That's always a bonus. Whether or not it makes much of a difference, basically it's just keeping Drinky's floor up. And he's pretty much comfortably a 70 now, which is nice. With a bit of attack, he's just averaging out a comfortable 70 with obviously a game like last week where they go nuts. There's a lot more in it for him. So look, the more and more that I'm going into it, the more I'm leaning into just going Gutho to Drinky myself. I really wish I had the coin to go Gutho to Teddy. That would be just the perfect one. And I can if I do two trades, but I don't want to spend so many at the moment. So, I can see it, man. I can definitely see it. But there's also a really good argument to hold on to him. They're playing the Tigers. He could go nuts. He's got a pretty good record at Suncorp. So, look, it can go one or two ways. And I think whatever happens this week, the other side's going to laugh at the other side. I think the traders are going to say, far out, you should have got off him with the break even. And then the ones that held him, you should have been like, you should have been believers. You know what I mean? It's Gutho.
Just blame me. I'll wear it. It's all good.
Yeah, or just whatever Joel does, don't do that because it's the wrong thing to do. So, number 5, Lockie Hubner. Look, he's back on the bench now. So he's back. He's probably not going to get the minutes. He's going to lose a bit of coin. He hasn't made a great deal to really lose a comfortable amount. So he could just plot away for you. Not very nice. To round it out, Jaden Campbell, McLean, Egan, Plath, and Iongi. So a couple of just, guys to trade. Jaden Campbell's still a very viable trade out. He's 700k. I personally will be watching King Togia this week. And I don't like any 5/8s enough if they're not Jaden Campbell or Munster to own them. I think I might want to bank 500k. So that is where I would be looking. 500k right now would be insane to have in your stash. So anything else in that lot?
Just a quick one on Dylan Egan. Do we all agree it's the time to sell? He is back in the starting side. He hasn't recovered from this injury, whatever it is. I obviously do think it is, but some people might be thinking, well, he's starting, so he has scored well so far in a starting role, but it does feel a bit off. I think it was Trav that said at the start of this podcast, it just feels a bit weird and off at the moment with him. I do agree. So if you probably can, but for mine, you can go up, but it is a bit of a way at the moment for mine to go up, and I personally don't have the cash. So
yeah. Well, you might have the cash if you go Campbell to King Togia. You can do anything you want with it. That's why I'm thinking about doing that for next week. But look, I don't think it's a necessary massive trade out. I don't think you have to rush to it. But I think in the structure of most sides, he's not a keeper. He's 435k, so he's probably your fourth or fifth second row option that you've got. He's the guy that you would be looking to upgrade from. I don't know if there's really no options down at the moment below his price in the the second row, sorry, that are really viable trade-ins. You got like people are trading in Savala, people are trading in Billy Burns. Like there's options there for it, but you're not like Savala is not a trade-in by any means. Like he's probably more often going to score 20 than anything else. And you don't make enough getting Burns in. So yeah, I just think with that, there's a chance, if Egan's starting, he could play at full 80. If not, he could play 60, and then if he bases well enough in the middle, like you might lose 10, 15k. Best case scenario. And then he had one off game, he's still got a decent rolling average. Like he's going to be that guy that you can move from, but doesn't need to be something that you have to burn the place down to get him out of your team for. So I think Hubner's a bigger priority out than Egan is at this stage, even with their price differences. And that's the outs. Ins. So where are we? Ins. I don't like this in at all. Robert Derby. He's 360k. He's gone up 84k just from last week's efforts with his hat trick. I think it was 3 or 4. 3.
3
tries. 3. Monster effort. Minus 46 break even. He will make probably he's often a projected average of 55. He hasn't done that yet. He's had his monster game, and then everything else has just been 20s.
34, 48, 32, 26.
Yeah, a bit higher than what I just said. But look, I just think it's not going to happen all the time. It's really not. And I think by the time you get his price rise, his break even is going to balance itself out. He's going to be he's going to have a high break even, and he's going to have to keep scoring quite well. And I just don't know if he does. He could do. But again, 360 is not cheap. Last week it really was, but we didn't really look at him too much. So who are you downgrading from to get him in your side? Traded in for Hiroti.
Popular. Yeah.
So for Hiroti, you've banked 70k.
Yeah.
So for everything that Hiroti's done, you've just got 70k back. Again, he's going to increase in cash, but you've spent 2 trades, one to get Hiroti in, and then one to get Derby in. So for 70k, and the rest.
Can I just say? Can I just say on Derby, just to stop this one, because I feel like we don't have to spend. I think we're all in agreement. It's the fact that if you had him, well done. You finally, it's actually paid off for you. Awesome. If you haven't got him, it's unlucky. Like it's just unlucky.
Can't have him all.
On. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta know when to fade them.
Yeah.
Yep. That's pretty much it.
I think at the moment the plan is whenever you can, you're upgrading those 450, 500 guys or whatever to a keeper moving forward. So you're not trying to look at downgrading to a 360 odd K centre wing. So
yeah, and understandably, you do have to sometimes go one up, one down, but you've just gone up. You've gone a cheapie into a cheapie who's not going to really have what Hiroti could do. But number 2, Bo Fermor. Love this one. 12,000 ins, 550k. He went up 57k last week. Jewel, we spoke about him last week when he was under 500k. I think he was 497. With a reasonable break even too. It was like 50 odd. I thought like he's gonna do, maybe he might get a 60 odd 70 if he goes massive and goes up 20k tops. He went up a lot more than that. So he had a killer of a game, scored a try off a mad forward pass to the joys of all the Tino owners that needed some points. But look, he's belted out a massive one, minus 18. Like you gotta, it's one of those now or never weeks for Fermor, I think. Again, he'll probably play Origin, and then he'll have a pretty rough buy run period too. So he's not a great buy as far as planning ahead goes, but I think for now he probably really is. Thoughts on Fermor?
Oh, yeah, love him. I was very high on him at the start of this podcast. We were very high on him last week. I really like it. I just don't like the run. Round 12, then the Storm, round 13, whether he backs up plus he's going to have to play for Origin because the Maroons have got no one left. Like someone has to fill those spots and he's in the running for it. So, yeah, as much as I love him and I know you're going to get him for a couple of weeks now, I'm fading Fermor.
Yep. Unfortunately so. But I think he's a shoo-in for Origin. I don't think there's much discussion. I don't think there's really too much to toss up. Number 3, Hugo Savala. So again, he's a mass downgrade option. He's a jewel, but the halfback jewel is pointless. Oh man, look.
Had to get a try to get a decent score on the weekend. Yeah. And was very lucky. It was very junk timey type of try. Like it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. Yep. He's literally over the games that he's had before that. And let's discount the 11, 13, and 14 minute games that he's had. He played 2 80-minute games before, got 2021. Granted, he played Broncos and Penrith.
Still really low.
And that's really low. That's low. Now, this is the prime thing where you might be buying him because he just got a 65 and you've been watching the games and he's been playing well. Let's be fair. He's been playing pretty well.
Yeah, he has.
It's just not Supercoach relevant.
Yeah.
So don't buy into that different.
Yeah. He's got like a really good kicking game. Management seems solid. Nothing that translates into Supercoach. And he's not in the attack side. It's pretty much just been funneled between Sandon Smith and Teddy at this stage. So, and then the wingers, like he's just there to sort of guide him around and kick the ball. So, good player, but not for Supercoach. And for the price, 230, like it's fine. It's the cheapest you're going to get if he's if you're looking at like a Hubner down or something like that, to make that coin, you've got something that's going to be an emergency nightmare, an AE's problem whenever you have to loop, if you do often. But, nothing that you can really write home about. Number 4, Scott Drinkwater. We've obviously spoken at length about Scott Drinkwater. He's a good purchase. The same as Dylan Lucas at number 5. Tedesco's in at number 6, so really good. Burns, Sandon Smith, Herbie, and Moses. Mitchell Moses is down in number 10, so I didn't expect to see him in the top 10 buys at the moment, but it's a bit of a smoky one. We sort of talked about Billy Burns before. Sandon Smith again, gun as far as that coverage goes in that little hooker spot. It's nice and handy. 9, Herbie has always been every week so far in the last few weeks. He's been in the top trade-in list, but by not a great deal. Sort of at the bottom, middling. He's only 10% owned still. 16,000 teams have him. So I just think when it comes to center wings, he's just a lock. Like, he's so freaking good. But yeah, just looking at that, Mitchell Moses. Might quickly talk about him. 628k. It's 39 break even. Had an absolute cracker of a return game. Won't change price this week. Even after this game, it'll be a next week thing. And then I would imagine he's the 6 for the Blues. So misses a fair few from that point on. But Moses, is there any world where he doesn't get selected for Origin?
No, and there is no world where he's in the top 10 trade-ins, in my opinion, either. I've got to be honest here. Like you put into everything in here. It's the second game he's back from an injury. He's going to be playing Origin. There is no way in the world, in my opinion, he'll be backing up either with his injury history. I think the club will be very cautious with that. So, look, fantastic game. Draft players, again, who finally loving the fact they held on to him for so long and got a great score out of him, and it looks like they might get that for the next week or two. I would not be getting him in at the moment. You'd be going for a few of the others that you've already spoken about, not Mitchell Moses. And I'm a massive Para fan, obviously, but I just can't for Supercoach.
Yep, I agree. Traded in mostly from Cherry Evans owners. So he's on a bye, and then I guess Trey Evans is in the same boat as Moses when it comes to Origin.
Yeah.
He's going to miss the same games. So, yeah, look, I don't know. I didn't expect to see that one there, but he did well last week. It's just Moses. He's a bit up and down sometimes.
I'd rather go Brownie for people feeling like they need someone to do with para. So, but
yeah, at least you're getting someone. Well, they're pretty much the exact same price. Dual, no
That's
Origin.
what I mean.
Yeah,
and yeah.
definitely. Cool. Well, you know what? Moses he's dearer than Hines at this stage.
Hines.
And he's dearer than Hughes too. So he's dearer than both
Hines.
of them, and they're surely you're doing Hines over that. He's not even in the top 10. But man, that's everything for the in and outs, and we've spoken quite a lot at the moment. I think. Where do you want to go from here, mate? Our trades.
So before we do, I think just to give everyone an update, we'll give everyone what trades we got left, as well as how many boosts we got left as well. I think that's an interesting talking point, and then let everyone know our trades as well. So, who wants to put their hand up?
Yeah, I can go. So at the moment, I am talking about what trades I'm going to do, and that will be Mamazelis down to Riley Smith. Gets me 200.
Have a brain fart?
Yeah, I did, because I was just trying to think. I was just trying to scroll through because I was off the pages.
How many trades do you have left first? How many trades and boosts?
I've got no boosts and 31 trades.
Okay.
Wow.
Hang on.
No, sorry, 30 trades now. I've scrolled up. So
30 trades with no boost.
Yes.
You've boosted every single week that you've traded.
I've got no boost.
So you used 5 boosts. So 15 trades. And we start with 45?
46. 46, I think we started with.
Yeah. So he had the one week he didn't trade, wasn't it?
Why are we spending 2 minutes on this? Seriously.
Sorry, mate. I'm just trying to do some math in my head. I'm just like, wait a minute. How do I have less trades than you and a boost?
So Mamazelis down to Riley Smith with the 80K that I had left over from last week leaves me 255K. Now the question is what I do with that money. So I've got a few thoughts. Hiroti up to Marky Mark or a Fermor, or anyone really, anyone around 680K. So I could do that, or it's Gutherson to a Drinkwater or a Teddy. They're my two thoughts there. I did have a slight thought around maybe Olakawatu to Nickera and put more money. Olakawatu's not playing this week, and then I get that Nickera in early, and Olakawatu is going to go to Origin. So I'm thinking maybe there, but I want to keep Olakawatu, but that might just be a bit of a pottish type of play and getting in early with Nickera. But there's my couple of thoughts. I
don't mind the Mamazelis down to Smith. Hey, I've contemplated it myself too, because it's good money. I've also got Garlic.
Great money. Yeah, it's great money, which means that I've got Smith to cover, although he's not really going to score much, but he might. Things might start to click now that he's locked that 80-minute role. I've got Starling to cover pretty much up until 15, Smith to cover 15, and then off I go. And that's my hookers. And I've still got Smith, but I'm just going to sit in the halfback at this point in time.
Smith misses 15 as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep. And Riley Smith misses 15 and 18, so might be a bit of a overlap for you. But yeah, good coin. Hey, suppose you got some choices to make. Hey.
Yep. Decide which one I'll do. But over the week, I'm leaning more towards Gutho to Teddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I wouldn't mind getting Hiroti out either.
Be nice if you had a boost.
I'm happy to not have them too.
No, it's fair. It's easy to make decisions. I've made so many combinations this week, and I was trying to work out what to use because I'll just go to it. Before any trades, I'm on 28 with no boost. Oh, sorry, one boost, which means 28 with one boost. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm getting through them at an alarming rate. But the team is really good, so I'm like, surely at some point I have to stop trading. That's
Get
where I'm
to
thinking.
round 20 and have 10 left. You'll be sweet for the rest of the year.
Round 20 with 10
left.
The way he's
That's
going,
eight.
I'll have none by round 20.
That's 8 by round 20.
That's
Far
18
out.
trades.
Good
He'll
God.
have none.
I've got no chance. I'll have no trades by round 19, I can tell you that. But I'll be set up nicely. I'm just, I don't know. I'm kind of looking at doing either like a Gutho to Drinkwater as well. Just jumping off while the break evens are far apart and just riding Drinkwater as a run through. I've also got Jaden Campbell sitting there that I want to do something with. And I've tossed up a Gutho to Teddy, Jaden Campbell to Galvin. And I quite like that move. I can also do that same trade with Drinkwater instead and get Dylan Brown. Or I can go for a boost and go straight down to like a Blaze to Lungy, who's a little bit cheaper. And then I think what I had looked at before was Dylan Egan up to Viliami Kickow. And I actually really like that move because I think Kickow with his buy coverage, with the way that the Dogs are playing, quite good. It gets another solid 2RF in there, so I'd have about 4 or 5 viable plays. I don't mind Blaze as a play either. I think he's good for a 60, and he does play the first buy round. But again, I'm not super convinced on it. And then it's just a mix-up between which fullback it is, hey. But then I don't know. I've looked at also my centre wing, and I want to try and get Mark in the side. I want to try and get a couple of these guys we spoke about that I don't already have. And I just don't know who to trade. I just don't know which ones to get out. It's got to be between like Billy Smith or Toya to get Mark in because the other 5 are lock-ins. So, yeah, the more I think about it and the more questions that I'm asking myself, I don't know. I'm not sold on anyone, and I don't think I should rush a move with my last boost for it. So I think what I'd probably just do is, that Gutho to Drinky trade because I'm going to want Drinky anyway. I may as well do it now. And then if I do decide to drop Campbell down to nothing, then I can use his money for a boost. So, yeah, at this stage, one trade, just Gutho to Drinky and try not to think too much about it. So,
fair enough, mate.
Everyone, quickly get your pens and write this down.
Do not.
Oh, 30 trades. 30 trades left. I have one boost remaining as well. I have absolutely no idea what to do this week. Absolutely no idea. So for mine, I'm going Gutho to Drinky. That's the only lock-in I have at the moment. At the moment, I'm very much tossing up in my head to use the boost this week, and whether it's to free up a bit of coin to attack next week with 2 very good trades, or it's to somehow free up cash with a Jaden Campbell downgrade to then get Marky my team. And is that worth a boost to do this week? Because I feel like if I want Marky Mark, I want it from this week. I want to get him straight away and go from that. So it's balancing that up if it's worth it. The other problem then I have is that I'll then have 3 Roosters in my back line, which obviously I don't play all of them at the same time. I haven't really played Toya much at all, to be honest, this year. So I'm just trying to work out because I'll use Hiroti to go up to Nwanga Nitawasi. So I'm trying to just think what to do because the Campbell down to, at the moment, my trade was, if I was just to do 2 boring trades, I would go Gutho to Drinky, Campbell to Brown, but I'm not liking the Brown trade the more this week goes. I'm just a bit off it now. Start of the week, I was all for it. And even last week, the longer this week is gone now, I'm just a bit, I think Moses will do great for him, but I just don't like him when Moses isn't there, which is going to be a little bit over the next month and a half.
Yeah, I don't know about the Brown thing. Hey, like he's always good for his 50s and 60s, but it's like, is that? Then I'm starting to just question the second 5/8 slot altogether. That's why I thought, even when I said it a while back, I was like, look, it's Munster and Campbell and then Daylight, and I stand by that too. Even now, the 5/8 race we opened it up and said, who's the next man up for it, and like no one's put their hand up. Burton got binned. Brown obviously was on a buy, so we couldn't tell what he was doing. Everyone else was just doing what they did, slightly below average. So I just don't like any of them outside of them. And I think, if King Toggy is the guy that looks like he's not going to get dropped, that's all I care about. Even if he does get dropped, he gets dropped, and then you nuff out your 5/8, and you might get another loop out of it. But for 500k, I just think it's way too valuable, and it's a genuine option. Like it genuinely should be considered. Maybe don't rush on it. Maybe don't do it this week, but I just think it's you can do a lot with it. So yeah, I think that's decent, man. I think it's worth just having a look. 5/8's so ugly. Here, captaining.
I'm looking at the moment. I've actually on a VC on Marju, and then I've gone a captaincy on Terrell May.
I am going VC Ponga for fix up his season score, and I've got the C on Terrell May too.
Just everyone's got the C on Terrell May. At this stage, I have the VC on Terrell May, which I probably will change to Drinkwater just to have that in there. I currently have the C on Carraz. So I just want to see what he can do against the Titans because I'm putting all my chips in that basket. Could very well change as well. I think I might do something where it's like a Drinky VC into a Terrell May captain. Because I, obviously the Juju side of things that we talk about, but I think it's probably worthy of shout. But yeah, I just think, God, I wish the Dogs played them earlier because I'd love to do that. It could also be actually looking at the fixtures. VC Carraz, C Haas could also be on the cards because they play after as well. So a couple of little pair up options there, but I just think the front row is freaking doing too much to ignore. So
yep, agreed.
Yep, cool.
Don't mind. That's it.
Beauty. Big one.
Wow, big one, huge one. Hope you got a lot out of this, guys. Let us know in the comments your thoughts. If it helped you, if it didn't, let us know. Grill us if you need to. We don't care. Magic Round, very, very pumped for it. This is officially us signing off for the weekend. Very keen for that one. All the potties are done. Just a reminder, the Sunday review show will not be going ahead this weekend, obviously with Magic Round not getting back in time, things like that. Yeah, that just won't be happening. I might see how things are going. I might quickly come on and do something maybe Monday, have a bit of a chat around Magic Round, how it'll happen. But we will see just to get something out there. But yeah, enjoy. If you're at Magic Round, don't forget about our event. Message the page if you are very interested. Oh, if you're interested in coming, get you guys in there if we can fit you. But yeah, if not, don't be a stranger. Come say hi to us throughout the weekend. Chat some footy, do all that. But very pumped, boys. Good night to everyone. Good day, whenever it is. Pump for Magic Round, pump for everything else, pump for Supercoach to, destroy a few more players. Good night.